The sparklers and the fireworks go off. What a lovely touch that is, because the smoke left behind basically makes up the national flags of each country. So to our left-hand side, the green and the blue and the yellow just floating skywards. The red and the bold blue to the right-hand side with little splashes of white disappears into the evening air as well. Muggy conditions, grey skies above, and Pat Nevin, a fascinating, mouth-watering World Cup clash ahead for us here.
Look, we look forward to every single game we do, and we look forward to every game we do in the World Cup, of course. There's something pretty special about this one. It always is with Brazil, but you want Brazil playing against a team that's going to test them. It's going to ask them all the questions, and you're going to find out if this is a good or a great or an average Brazil team. I think you find out today, because this is my favourite test. Yeah, they played the Moroccans early on, but it was early on they were building their way into it. This is, this knockout. We'll find out how good they can be.
What is also fantastic to see is that they are both in the first choice kit. So in the last game for Norway against the Ivory Coast, they were in the changed white kit. But this is Norway in strident bright red with the bold blue cross emblazoned on the front of the shirt, lining up for the team photo in the right-hand half of the field as we look down. And Brazil, as they always should be, you think, in that light yellow, matches perfectly, set off perfectly by the blue shorts and the white socks. I tell you what I didn't look at, Pat, actually, because I was looking down on the field, and we are miles away, high up in the sky, as we always are at these World Cup games. The Haaland-Gabriel handshake would have been worth a little look, wouldn't it?
The thing is, see, if you're a player, we get a wee bit excited about it. If you're a player, you walk by, you don't care, you just slap.
Yeah.
You almost don't see who you're doing it the vast majority of the time, unless you're specifically looking out for it.
Well, it's one of the great head-to-heads to look out for in this game. Brazil are lining up for a squad photo, so that is the full 26, all three goalkeepers in the dark purple on the back right of the picture, but only one can play. Number one on his back with the long dark hair, swarthy black beard is Alisson, goes jogging away to our left, the Liverpool goalkeeper, playing in his third World Cup. This is 83rd cap, and as the two captains, Martin Ødegaard and Marquinhos, shake hands over the halfway line. Let's get you through the two-team lineup. So one change for Brazil from the 2-1 win against Japan in the last 32. That is Gabriel Martinelli getting a first start of the tournament, having scored the 95th minute winner in that game, coming in for Lucas Paquetá, who had to come off at half-time with an injury. Alisson in goal, Danilo at right back, former Manchester City player, Douglas Santos winning only his 12th cap at left back, Marquinhos and Gabriel in the middle of defence, Bruno Guimaraes alongside Casemiro, and then the three, I think, in behind Matheus Cunha. It looks like it'll be Ryan right, Vinicius Junior left, and Gabriel Martinelli in behind the centre forward. Norway's change sees Julian Riasson of Borussia Dortmund return at right back. Came off in the second game with a hamstring injury. I'm told, Pat, this was a late fitness test. England have right back problems at the moment. Holmgren Pedersen, who replaced Riasson in the last game, is out ill. So if Riasson doesn't last and he's up against Vinicius Junior, they're going to have to make another change there. Yeah, but Arsmith, who actually played in one of the games at that position, I think just getting him ready for this precise situation, he may not be fit. I think you're absolutely right with Ryerson, and it is one of those ones where you go and give it everything you've got, and if you break down, you break down. You tell the manager immediately, and then you make the change. The worst situation is bringing an injured player on who then gets injured, so that's why Ryerson's starting today. Orjan Nilan made a fabulous save from Amad Diallo late in the game against the Ivory Coast to prevent it going to extra time. He's in goal, Ryersson at right back, Wolves' David Müller-Wülfer at left back, Christopher Ajer and Torbjorn Hegem, the two centre-backs. We are underway. Norway playing from right to left in the first half. Long ball downfield from the goalkeeper Nilan. Haaland will chase, and Douglas Santos can just watch it bounce harmlessly away and go behind for the goal kick. Ødegaard, Sander Berge, Patrick Berg of Bodo Glimt, Alexander Sorloth, another one of the giants, 6'5" tall. You'd think of him as a centre forward, but he's on the right of the attacking trident. Erling Haaland through the middle has scored 25 goals in his last 13 internationals, and he's a little bit hasty there. Brazil taking the goal kick. Haaland went early, burst into the penalty area. Brazil get to go again. Antonio Nusa scored a wonder goal against the Ivory Coast. He starts on the left.
What an unusual lineup from Brazil. Not at all I expected them to do it. They've started with the two wide players really high up the pitch, and behind them almost two false nines. Martinelli and Cunha not playing up against the centre backs, well, to start with anyway, but you've got Ryan who's going to play right wing, right up the park, and of course Vinicius Junior left, really far up the park on the left hand side as well. We shall see how long that lasts, but an interesting and unusual way to start.
Might have something to do with the wily old Italian fox sitting in the dugout, smart as ever. Not quite as warm today. It was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Philadelphia yesterday. A little bit cooler today, but whatever the weather, Carlo Ancelotti in the dark blazer, what looks like a sort of woolen waistcoat underneath it as well. Impeccably smart as ever. Tackle is won here at right back by Danilo, and Norway have a throw midway inside the Brazil half on the left, and it is slung back low and skiddy towards Torbjorn Hegem. So it's Ayer and Hegem, the two centre-backs for Norway. Formed a regular partnership in qualifying. Two excellent wins against Italy, saw them finish top of the group. There's Riasson, first touch of the game, passes it down the right, up to the halfway line to Sorloth. Riasson receives it again. Ødegaard's first touch gave Cunha a sniff. He comes racing in, makes a couple of tackles, and the ball goes out for a Norway throw, and immediately Cunha getting involved with the Brazilian fans, trying to get them up and involved and noisy all around this giant stadium. This the last game in the New York, New Jersey stadium before the final, which is 2 weeks today, and the winners of this one, as we said, will meet the winners of Mexico-England. Full commentary 1 o'clock on 5 Live from the Azteca. Attacking chance for Norway. Ødegaard trying to slide Sorloth in on the right-hand side. Sorloth cuts it back into the penalty area. Great chance for Berg! Side foots the ball home, but the flag is up. We knew it was coming. The Norwegian fans away to our right haven't seen it just yet, but the celebrations are short-lived, and Pat Nevin spotted it straight away. Great finish though, Pat.
Well, great finish, good play in the build-up to it. Sorloth went far too early. It's not even close. Well, I say that, you always have to double-check. We see it a second time, well, it's a little bit closer than I thought, but it's definitely offside. So, I mean, well done your commentary, keeping it exciting there. But to be fair, yeah. I thought it was way offside, yeah. And the Brazilians did it well. And to be honest, it's a disappointment for the Norwegians, because if you're the wide player, you shouldn't be offside there. You can see all the way along the line. There was no need for him to go that early.
I think the really interesting thing as well, from the cutback, there were 3 red shirts pouring forward into the penalty area. It fell perfectly for Berg, but attacking intent from the Norwegians.
Yeah, it's interesting. They don't want to play up against the centre backs of Norway, and they're trying all sorts of strange things up front, Brazil just now, but it makes no difference because they're under pressure. They're not getting the ball up there.
4 minutes in, Pat Nevin alongside me inside the New York, New Jersey stadium, normally known as the MetLife, home to the NFL teams, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. Not everyone in New York loves this stadium, but it's certainly created an atmosphere in here. Ødegaard's diagonal ball out to the right finds Sorloth again. Couple of touches, it comes back to Riasson. Ødegaard asks for it at walking pace. Norway inside their own half have made a really assured start to this game. I think they are going to fancy their chances, and I think any team in this quarter of the draw, Norway, Brazil, Mexico, England, will fancy their chances in these games today and the next one to come, the quarterfinal in Miami on Friday.
Yeah, I could spend a lot of time talking about what the Brazilians are doing up front just now, because they change it all the time. Vinny Junior's almost playing the centre forward now, but they're not getting enough ball up there at the moment, so it's neither here nor there.
Giant figure of Sorloth involved early on, controlled that ball. It's come back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard shifts it to his left foot, glides away from Vinicius Junior. Didn't really make an attempt at chasing it. Comes out to the left-hand side. First chance for Antonio Nusa to have a dribble. Fires a low pass into Ødegaard. Across it comes to another giant in the Norwegian team, Sander Berge. Riasson quickly onto Sorloth on the right-hand side. The Brazilian fans booing this concerted possession from Norway, who've won a corner. Sorloth's cross is blocked, and it goes behind early attacking set piece for Norway.
When Chappers was chanting the build-up to it, I think the subtle suggestion, he was trying to find out, is there any sort of feeling within the Norwegians that they've got an inferiority complex, right? Just to find out if it was the case. No. Absolutely not, from what we've seen at the start of this game.
Yeah, really impressive start from Norway. We saw Brazil make a very slow start in this stadium, in fact, right at the start of the tournament against Morocco. Vinicius Junior saved them there in the 1-1 draw. Ødegaard's corner in from the right, spin and curl on that. The whistle's blown though, because Alisson very casually made an attempt to catch it. Now, referee, who is an American, Ismail Elfath, wasn't happy with something there, gathers some of the players around him, and so that is going to be retaken.
I wonder if it was that, or maybe there's a ball outside the quadrant. Anyway, no one went for it. I'm sure they'll go for this one.
Who's marking Haaland at the far post? That is not Gabriel. Haaland's gone trotting back towards the penalty spot. Ødegaard waits to deliver again. Couple of short steps to the ball. In it comes in swinger. Load of bodies clustered around the edge of the 6-yard box. Thumped away. High in the sky. Dropping down midway inside the Brazil half. Now might break for Martinelli. Martinelli's got speed, we know that. Goes past Berg. Feeds Vinicius. Vinicius stabs it infield, tries to collect the ball the other side. Sander Berge read the danger, and Norway again, lots of red shirts forward here. Ødegaard's on the ball, pulling the strings and looking for movement ahead of him. The industrious Patrick Berg of Bodo Glimt in the number 6 shirt, always running, always moving. Back it comes to Ødegaard in the inside right channel. 1-2 with Berge. Into the centre circle, and Torbjorn Heggem, socks rolled down, dark blue socks, white shorts, bright red shirts for Norway. Nusa pokes it in field. Berge stretches a couple of times, the ball goes spinning in the air from the tackle, headed forward by Ryan. Heggem should have this covered, and he comes back to his goalkeeper Orjan Nilan. Next break in play will take you to Wimbledon. The championships continue, so we'll give you our latest from there, but Riasson can't control that pass, and Brazil are going to take a quick throw in an attacking position, so we won't take you to SW19 just yet. Here's Cunha. More thoughts from Pat Nevin on the Brazil forward line in a second, because it's the first time we've really seen them in possession of the football in the first period of this game. Almost 8 minutes played. Comes back to the right back, Danilo. 75th Brazil cap for him today. Martinelli in the number 10 role, lays it off to Casemiro, comes creeping forward, middle of the Norway half, encouraged to bring it forward. First time ball out to the right-hand side to Ryan. Ryan to Guimarães. Nice control from Guimarães to Martinelli. Quick feet from him, looking for the chipped cross. Hits Heggem. Brazil managed to regather the ball. Guimarães has it on the corner of the Norway penalty area. Brazil attacking down the right-hand side. Left-footed pass, sprays it out towards Vinicius. Riasson closes the space down quickly, gets a foot on the ball, loses it. Vinicius Junior, quick as a flash, beats his man. That's Iron, he's taken it over the dead ball line. That is going to be a goal kick for Norway. So let's head to Wimbledon, find out the latest from our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller.
Where, Ali, one Japanese player has already beaten the world number 1, Naomi Osaka, knocking out Arina Sabalenka. But despite his efforts in this second set, it looks as if the qualifier Shintaro Mochizuki is about to go 2-0 down to Yannick Sinner. Sinner leads the second set tiebreak 5-0.
Thank you, Russell. It reminds me to give the Wimbledon Daily podcast a plug, available on the BBC Sounds app, as is the Football Daily. 0-0 between Brazil and Norway. Guimarães' ball looking for Vinicius Junior, nodded down by Ayer, collected by Riasson, and into the Norwegian midfield. Pat Nevin.
There's a lot of space in the midfield now, because the game has lengthened quite a bit. And I think that will suit the Brazilians a little bit, because when they get the ball with space, every one of their players can do something special with it. But there was a delicious moment just a few moments ago on the left-hand side. Vinny Junior got the ball, and he did the most incredibly beautiful, speedy dummy. It left Riasson absolutely swiping at Vinny. A beautiful piece of play.
4 goals for Vinicius Junior at the World Cup so far, all in the group stages. Didn't score against Japan. We've got Messi and Mbappe on 7. Haaland out here on 5. Harry Kane on 5, playing later against Mexico. Great ball from Guimarães into Martinelli. Martinelli's cut back into the penalty area. Cunha stretches, sliding challenge from Ayer, and the referee's got a decision to make. Cunha cannot believe that the referee hasn't pointed to the spot. Now, if he hasn't given a corner there, I don't quite understand that.
Well, it's weird though, because he has pointed to a goal kick, but he'll wait, because he's not got the best angle on it. It looked to us like a penalty kick, didn't it? And we've seen it again, and that looks incredibly like a penalty kick.
Has to be a penalty.
It's
Ayer
got to
gets
be,
nothing
surely.
of the ball, all of Mateus Cunha, and quite often you'll see the attacker, you know, with the sort of horrified reaction, I can't believe you haven't given it. But VAR will be looking. Video assistant referee is Tatiana Guzman, and there we go, it's up on the screens, Pat. It's the same as the one yesterday, Desiree Doué. When we saw it on the replay, it was clear as day, this is going to be a penalty.
Yeah, I would say yesterday's was 99%. This is 99.5% a penalty kick. Sometimes they come away with a weird decision and don't go and have a look at it. If a referee goes and has a look at that, that's a penalty kick. I mean, it's what you do. Remember what Harry Kane tried to do when we went through. He flicked the ball past and the tackle comes through and takes him out. This was even clearer than the Harry Kane one. I mean, actually, probably a lot clearer, because both of the feet have. Do you know, the referee doesn't seem to want to go over.
Here he comes.
Yeah. Thankfully, at last.
Well, you can hear the reaction of the Brazilian fans. Brazilian radio to our right-hand side are going to be getting excited very soon, because the referee, Ismail Elfaf, I don't think will be long. He's come trotting towards us. He's disappeared from view. He's in between the two dugouts on the side of the pitch. One of them emblazoned with the bright green colours, yellow and blue of Brazil, the other in the red, white and blue of Norway. I think Norway know what's coming here as well. Yannick Sinner's won the second set at Wimbledon. We were just hearing from Russell Fuller there. But here comes the big call in New Jersey. Let's hear from the referee. Penalty for Brazil, no surprise there. Christopher Ayer went for the ball. It was a risky challenge. Cunha got there first. He definitely didn't dive. He was caught. And now Brazil have a chance to take the lead early on in this game, in this last 16 tie. And goalkeeper Orjan Nyland is going to delay as long as possible. But what we're not seeing here is silliness from the Norwegian players around the penalty spot, trying to scuff it up. But Nyland is just going to try and delay this as long as he can. Yeah,
that's what they do. There is going to be a level of gamesmanship involved. We must go back to the tackle. That was rotten. That was awful. There was no need to dive in there. It was going away from goal. He's made a slide tackle from about 10 yards away. Honestly, it was schoolboyish. It was very, very poor play against a top player. And most top players in that situation see it coming a mile, flick the ball by and take the hit. I'm stunned that he tried to make that tackle there.
I'm stunned that Bruno Guimarães is going to take the penalty for Brazil. Now, Brazilian fans may tell me otherwise. I've seen him take good penalties for Newcastle. I've seen him take poor penalties for Newcastle. Vinicius Junior has handed the ball over. So Bruno Guimarães, yet to score at the tournament. This a big moment. Up against Norway. Red-shirted Norwegian fans behind the goal, desperately trying to put him off. Deep breath from Guimarães. He runs on the spot. He approaches the ball, and with his right foot, it's saved. Nyland goes down to his left. That was not a good penalty. And Christopher Ayer gets away with a poor tackle, and Nyland turns to those thousands of Norwegian fans behind him and roars in delight.
They've looked at it as well a second time there. I thought the keeper moved very early off his line very quickly, but they seem to have looked at it and they've played on now, so he saved it. But sometimes when they take that long wait before they hit the ball, you just wonder, this is not going to have power. This must send the goalkeeper the wrong way.
Yeah.
It didn't, and it was saved.
Well, Carlo Ancelotti obviously knows what he's doing. Far be it from me to tell him anything at all about football, but I have to say, given the players out there, I was surprised that Bruno Guimarães was the man to step up. So, bit of drama early on in the game. 5 Live and BBC Sounds live at the World Cup again. Last 16 tie. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Haaland chasing a ball downfield. Gabriel heads it away. We're yet to get a moment in the match between the two. Nusa chests it down. Looks to get it to Müller-Wölfe, the left back flying forward. It's cleared away by Brazil. And Patrick Berg is happy to let that go out for a throw-in to Norway.
Well, one of the big things you've got, if you are the Brazilians now, you're thinking, OK, they might be very big, tough-looking centre-backs you're playing against. But they'll make mistakes, they'll dive in a bit, and the players, all 4 players up front for the Brazilians just now, they love that. They love a player that's going to dive in, particularly in the box. So even though they've not taken care of the penalty, they've not scored the penalty, they'll get a little lift from that, thinking, yeah, we can see a weakness here.
Alisson in the dark purple goalkeeping outfit receives the ball, bright orange gloves, bright orange boots, plays it to Gabriel. Norway just starting to press. Up the left-hand side it comes to Vinicius. He's fouled by Riasson, who comes through the back of him. Riasson started the game okay. And Norway will be breathing a big sigh of relief. They've actually, other than that tackle, Pat, made a really composed, assured start to the game. That was sort of out of character, in a way.
Absolutely. Well, they started really well. Oh, lovely piece of skill.
Yeah, Ryan skinned his man Muller-Wolfer into the penalty area, hits it early, slices it badly, and it goes behind for the goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, they had started very well, but the last few minutes you begin to see little bits of Brazil. When they do get the ball forward, they've got the four at the back. The fullbacks don't go very often. They usually stay back a bit. You see Casemiro, he's sitting way back. Unless it's a corner kick, he's sitting way back. And the other 5 players, it's as if there's 2 teams out there. You've got the 5 at the back, and then the other 5, they basically go anywhere. So Bruno Guimaraes, he could end up in the right wing. Martinelli could end up left wing, right wing, centre forward. Doesn't really matter. And they've got such a level of fluidity about their team. And we sometimes see this with 3 or 4 players. They've got 5 that are doing it there. That's why the Brazilians.
We're in this giant, wide-open bowl of a stadium. Both teams, both Brazil and Norway, have already played in it in this tournament. Brazil, the 5 times world champions, last time winners in 2002. They've never gone in the history of the World Cup 6 World Cups without winning it. And we are at that point. If they don't win it this year, then that will break an unwanted record for the team that have won this World Cup more than any other nation. Here's Ødegaard on the ball for Norway, just shy of the halfway line. Muller-Wolfer infield to Berger. Giant Fulham midfielder just turns, plays it back out to the left-hand side. Nusa scored that wonder goal against the Ivory Coast. Cuts in off the left flank, rolls the pass to Berger. A lot of space out on the right-hand side for Riasson, who's the assist king for Borussia Dortmund. Got 4 of them in one game against Mainz towards the end of the Bundesliga season. It's patient possession from Norway. Here's Ødegaard again. 10 yards into the Brazilian half, central position, starts running at the yellow-shirted players. They've lost it, Norway. Vinicius Junior is away, gives it to Martinelli. Options to his left and right. Martinelli holds on to it. Now he feeds it to Vinicius. Forced a little wide here. So it's against Dyer again. Cross comes in, nearly found Martinelli. Clever cross, outside of the right foot, took it early.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, because he's on his right foot there, you think he's not going to take it, but he knows that if you take that early there, defence aren't ready. He puts it in exactly the right position. Should have scored.
Right. Here comes Ødegaard chugging forward with the ball at his feet. Gives it to Sorloth. Sorloth thought he had the beating of Douglas Santos. Santos watched the ball, stuck a foot in and won it. Played forward to Cunha inside his own half. Back it comes into the midfield to Guimaraes, who's got to settle himself, forget the missed penalty and carry on. Norway playing in only their 4th World Cup. Chatting to one of their journalists before the game. They've only ever gone into 1 period of extra time in their history. That was in the World Cup back in 1938. Have never been involved in a competitive penalty shootout. That could be a first if we go all that way, ahead of Mexico, England later on. Mark Chapman will be back at half-time to continue the build-up to that. Nice build-up play from Brazil. Martinelli. Then it's threaded into the penalty area for Mateus Cunha to try and get on the end of, just beyond him, and Neelan comes sliding out and is able to collect it for Norway.
I know this has been said many, many times before when you've watched Erling Haaland play, but he's not really touched the ball yet, has he? I mean, have you mentioned his name other than talking about him? He's not really got on the ball. I mean, it's going to be very, very few touches that he's had so far in this game, and we're nearly 20 minutes in, and certainly nothing to go and attack from the wide areas.
Exactly the same in the game against the Ivory Coast, and then popped up late in the game with the finish that he didn't quite catch correctly. I don't know if you were watching that live, Pat. Yeah. Just squeezed it over the line, had that moment of panic. But he's walking at the moment. I mean, Norway have the ball inside the Brazilian half, but he's just biding his time, their giant number 9, with Braut Haaland, full surname written across his back.
They have got a problem, though. I mean, they go right and they're getting it to Sorloth, and he's the jinky 6'6" winger who hasn't got a trick.
Yeah.
So he's not really going to get that many crosses in. On the left-hand side, I have to say, I like Nusa, who in his way runs with the ball. He actually looks as if he's playing for the wrong team. He's got a lovely way with the ball. He's comfortable on it, can go either way. But they seem to be always going down the right wing away from Nusa. It's very strange. And if you're going to play that way and try and get balls in, you just wonder why Oscar Bob's not playing. And I liked Oscar. He played in the game against the French when they put out the B team, and I was at that game. And I thought Bob was brilliant that day. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Sorloth and Haaland worked well together in qualifying. Very patient Norwegian possession again, so you heard the jeers and the whistles from the Brazilian fans, but Brazil happy for Norway to have the ball at the moment. Sorloth inside his own half, keeps that Nieland clearance in play. Forward to Ødegaard, little trick from Ødegaard, and Vinicius not bothering to chase him there. Ødegaard goes past him, diagonal pass out to the right-hand side. Riasson looking to get forward here, and Sorloth's moved into the inside right channel. Ødegaard on the ball again. Riasson plays it infield to Berger. Cunha comes in as if he's about to make a challenge. It's given to Ødegaard again. Ødegaard creeping forward. Wide it goes to Riasson. Thinks about a cross. Haaland's marked by 2 in the middle. It's not Gabriel, it's Marquinhos that he's next to at the moment. Riasson challenged out there wide on the right for Norway. Berger helps him out. Pass out to the right and Sorloth. All in the same area of the field this. Back it comes to Riasson again, and Riasson decides to play it back into his own half to the centre-back, Hegem.
But they just keep on going right. Every time they get the ball, they turn away from the left-hand side. And I'm looking at myself, if you want to get Haaland a chance here, I mean, we know from the right-hand side that Riasson, who you mentioned earlier on, has been getting a good number of assists. But he's got the ball 3 or 4 times in positions there he could have had a cross in. And he's not made an attempt to do so. And every time they get the ball in the middle, it's as if they've just done that again.
Yeah.
They don't seem to rate Nusa on the left-hand side. It's very strange at the moment.
Well, if you saw the goal he scored against the Ivory Coast in the last game, unless this is a bit of rope-a-dope, we'll go right, we'll go right, we'll go right, and then we'll switch it to the left-hand side. But it was very similar to the goal that got he and Dennis all a quiver for Cape Verde against Argentina. The winger chopping onto the right foot, not from quite as far away as that brilliant goal against Argentina. Now Nusa's involved, quick dancing feet, there was a foul there. Advantage was about to be played, and Nusa's annoyed because rare involvement in the game. He's been stopped in his tracks. Müller-Wülfer was caught, and that is a free kick for Norway.
Müller-Wülfer's absolutely fuming. He's a left back, and he cannot believe the ball's not coming over this left-hand side. He's shouting and screaming at his midfielders. Come on, get over here. At least ask a different question. The first time the ball's come over here, they've managed to get a free kick in what is, well, I was going to say a dangerous position, but every position is a dangerous position with the height that you've got with Norway in the middle there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 giants in red shirts in the Giants Stadium, no less. Gathered around the edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Plenty of the yellow shirts in a straight line along the edge of the box. Ødegaard goes short with the free kick, gets it back again. He's 50 yards out. He's on the left, and this time he gets Nusa involved. Nusa will have a run at Danilo. Cuts inside him. Nusa still going across the face of the box. Has a teammate there in support. That's Riasson. Riasson does well under pressure to hold on to the ball. He turns, plays it back out to the left to Berg. Nusa receives it, looks for the 1-2. Good tackle by Matheus Cunha. Suddenly Brazil are 2-on-2 here against Norway. Cunha coming forward, dancing feet, tries to take it outside the defender who looks to run him off the ball. Cunha goes down again, looking for another penalty here, and this time he's not going to get the decision.
No, he's definitely not going to get that one, but he was close. He almost got past the defender. He managed to get back, and there's a little bit of an arm out, but I don't think it's enough. Certainly in this World Cup with the bar being quite high to give penalty kicks. But it's a dangerous moment, the ball given away by Nusa, which might answer the question why they're not giving him it out on the left-hand side all the time. If you lose the ball in that position when your full-back's gone wide of you, that leaves a massive gap behind, and you were nearly caught out there.
As Pat Nevin said, Hegem did just enough to stay with Cunha there, sort of beaten on the outside. He was stumbling forward, desperately trying to keep up with him, just did enough to sort of get his body in the way and run Cunha off the ball. Drinks break must be on the way soon, because we've already played 24 minutes in the first half, unless they've completely forgotten about it. I doubt it. Here's Aya, who conceded the penalty that was saved by Nieland from the right boot of Bruno Guimaraes. Fascinating World Cup last 16 encounter here. South America against Europe. Brazil against Norway remains 0-0. Ødegaard teasing players with the ball at his feet. Across it comes to Hegem. Hegem takes a few strides into the Brazilian half, plays it out to the left here to Nusa.
There's nothing Nusa can do, Ali. Nusa gets the ball and he wants to go down the line, and his full-back's outside him and beyond him. There's no space. He's basically going to run into bodies there. And it's really nice to see Müller-Wülfer. You're not desperate, you want to go and overlap and underlap for your full-back, but kind of wait until you get the ball first, don't do it beforehand.
Nieland Norway's goalkeeper, the hero already this afternoon with the penalty save, just outside his penalty area, hits diagonally towards Sorloth. That's been the plan all afternoon. Sorloth tries to control it, it hits his shins, goes spinning off them and out for a throw for Brazil.
I think Oscar Bob's got a slightly better touch than Sorloth. You know, have a wild stab at that one. The amount of times he's miscontrolled the ball, and he's not a right winger, is he? He's a centre forward. He's a target man. He's been asked to play out there. It is kind of weird, but you know, we understand if you get the ball on the left-hand side, eventually he might be able to come in at the back post for a header.
Gabriel on the ball. Gabriel Haaland has a battle yet to manifest itself in this game. Still 0-0. Ryan of Bournemouth, the 19-year-old, looking for the 1-2 with Guimaraes. Cleared, but only as far as Guimaraes. Nusa gets the ball in the left-back position, has a chance to run, dances away from the challenge there of Danilo. Ball is cleared away by Hegem in the end, after Nusa was tackled, and it goes out for a throw-in to Brazil, just inside their own half on the right, and the referee has remembered it is time for everyone to quench their thirst. 26 minutes gone in the first half. It is Brazil 0, Norway 0. I was just thinking, Pat, a couple of minutes ago as well, actually, you know, we're lucky enough to be here inside the stadium, as thousands are in the yellow shirts and the red shirts. But I always remember sitting in a bar in Recife watching Brazil-Chile in the last 16 of the World Cup in 2014. It went to a penalty shootout. Neymar eventually scored the decisive winning penalty. But when you're here watching games like this, you imagine what it must be like there right now, what it must be like in Norway right now.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do remember once a game that was 3 o'clock. It was the town, the one down from Recife, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was the main street, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and there was not one person or one car in the entire place. Nobody does anything except watch the game.
5 Live and BBC Sounds live at the World Cup. Last 16, Brazil against Norway is 0-0. Bruno Guimaraes has seen a penalty save. The winners of this one will play the winners of Mexico or England in Miami. I'm going to give you a predicted England team lineup in a second. Before I do that, let's take you back to Wimbledon. Get the latest on the championships from Russell Fuller.
Where Shintaro Mochizuki, the Japanese qualifier, is enjoying himself on centre court. He said before the match that Yannick Sinner is just a celebrity to me, but the world number 151 is now into a third set against him. He lost the second set on a tie-break to Sinner, who has the break in the third and leads by 2-1 under the roof on centre. They're also playing under the roof on court number 1, and Coco Gauff was a break of serve up in the first set against Belinda Bencic, but the Swiss is now serving for the first set and has a set point at 5-4. And earlier today, Ali, there were wins, most notably for Naomi Osaka, knocking out the world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka to reach the quarterfinals of Wimbledon for the first time. Karolina Mukova and Jessica Pegula. And in the men's draw for Novak Djokovic, Felix Auger-Aliassime, those two will meet in the quarterfinals, and 36-year-old Jan-Lennard Struff of Germany.
Thank you, Russell. I should know this, Russ. Does commentary continue on Sports Extra at the moment?
It most certainly does, and we'll be on until 11 o'clock at the latest, because there is a curfew, as I think you're probably aware, and it's possible that Coco Gauff and Belinda Bencic, should it go 3 sets, may even be hauled off court at some point.
And what's your plan for England tonight, Russ?
We have been having this debate long and hard, and I have thought about it long and hard, and I've decided to opt for bbc.co.uk/no spoilers and a curtailed version in the morning.
Okay, very good. Yeah, BBC 2 at 7:10, but the iPlayer's the option as well. Thank you, Russell. About to get going in the New York, New Jersey Stadium again. So, Sammy Mockbell of the BBC reporting here that Jarell Quansah expected to start at right back for England against Mexico. Saka and Gordon also expected to come in to replace Madueke and Rashford. So the 11 would likely be Pickford, Quansah, Konsa, Gahey, O'Reilly, Rice Anderson, Saka, Bellingham, Gordon and Kane.
Yeah, there's enough attack-minded players on there, without a shadow of a doubt.
That is Mexico-England. Kicks off at 1 a.m. and via the iPlayer you can listen to 5 Live's commentary. Fabulous commentary with John Murray and former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson as you watch the BBC pictures. Ryan's ball back here to Danilo, curling deep cross beyond Rierson. Vinicius is there to collect it for Brazil. Down by the dead ball line, plays a pass into space. Martinelli goes streaking into the box. It's rolled across goal. It nearly goes in. Goalkeeper Neelan got a touch, it went right across the line, miscue from Danilo as the cutback came to the edge of the box, and Nusa now able to dribble the ball away, but he's chased by 3 yellow-shirted Brazilians. He's knocked to the floor, and he has won Norway a free kick. Pat Nevin.
Living very dangerously there. Good play down the left-hand side. I was wondering whether it's offside. It wasn't. Brilliant plays at Martinelli there. Plays it, hits off the keeper's foot. Knew nothing about it, and that flicked over. I mean, it was a tap in there at the back post, an easy tap in there by Bruno Guimaraes, but that flick, the undeliberate flick, puts it straight over his head. Great chance there for Brazil, and they have had the better chances by some distance.
Brazil 0, Norway 0. Neelan's crucial penalty save, we saw a replay of it in the drinks break, to his left-hand side. I'll use the old football cliche. There's the battle between Gabriel and Haaland. Wrestling match. Gabriel's on the floor. Alisson comes racing out. Haaland was trying to get onto the end of that ball. Gabriel complained he was fouled. Back it comes to the corner of the box here, and Douglas Santos plays it back to his goalkeeper Alisson, who's able to clear it away with his left foot. Not the best clearance, straight out for a throw.
Right, 2 things about that. First of all, goalkeeper to Haaland, he's marked, and he almost gets through. And why have you not done it before? B, the more important point, Haaland was manhandling, grabbing him, whatever. No free kick given. Yeah. This is important. Haaland would have noticed that there. He will want more of the ball up to him so he can do that roughhouse stuff that he gets done to him, but he knows now that he can use his power back a little bit more.
First real threat from Erling Haaland in the game. Muller-Wolfer's ball forward, intercepted by Santos. Quickly forward to Ryan, who's in the centre circle. He was looking for the pass out to Danilo on the right. It was intercepted. Here's Nusa just inside his own half for Norway. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Pace on the ball from Berger. What a lovely first touch from Ødegaard. On the move, brought it down, turning in the same movement, and the pass goes straight out to Sorloth on the right-hand side. Ødegaard to Sorloth again. Sorloth to Ødegaard. Inside right channel, thinks about the cross. Haaland isn't really a target there. He's at walking pace on the edge of the D. Now he starts to make his way into the penalty area. Double step over from Nusa. Guimaraes not having any of that, just moves in, knocks him off the ball fairly. Well played out by Brazil from inside their own half. Casemiro looking for Vinicius. First time ball to Danilo. Danilo thought about releasing early into the middle. Loads of red shirts in there. Instead gives it to Vinicius. Moving at speed. Past the defender Heggen, but he knocks it too far. And it rolls behind for the goal kick to Norway. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
Well, you just knew that Vinicius Junior was going to get past his man there. He managed to do it with a little nutmeg. Just a little bit too much pace on it. He couldn't get it before the line. They do look smooth in the ball. When they're attacking, they look very, very smooth in the ball.
So goal kick for Norway, the last European team that Brazil beat in the knockout stages of the World Cup. You go back to the last time they won the competition. Incredible this, really. The final against Germany in 2002. They have beaten European teams in the group stages since then. But in terms of the knockout stages, it has been defeats every time. Alisson quickly off his line again, well outside his area. Clears away on the half volley. Aya wins the header above Cunha. Drops inside the Brazil half. Martinelli again moving at speed, running from left to right across his own half. Wants some forward runners. Danilo wasn't too interested. He gets it from the Arsenal man Martinelli, who didn't get as many starts as he would have liked for Arsenal this season. His goal scoring record, though, still very good. Crucial goals, lots of them in the Champions League. Scored the late winner against Japan here. Sorloth has it for Norway inside his own half. Feeds it to Haaland. Haaland turns away from Marquinhos. Sliding challenge on him by Santos. Won it initially, but Norway come again. They can't find Nusa on the left. And suddenly the game looks a little bit more open because Cunha turns on the halfway line. And Norway defenders desperately backpedaling. They don't want to see this man on the ball. Vinicius feeds it infield to Guimaraes. Guimaraes to his right, to Ryan. Ryan round the corner to Vinicius, hits it low and hard, blocked by the defender. And Muller-Wolfer is able to get a foot in. Hegem, in fact, does that, and he clears the ball away for Norway.
When you watch Vinicius Junior run with the ball, it's very similar to Eden Hazard at his very, very best. You know he's going to beat the first man. That's a given. It's just how he's going to do against the second and third.
Ryan plays it back to Danilo, Brazil's right back. Ryan again pushes it forward. Guimaraes tries the first time cross. Run is brilliantly covered by Patrick Berg. Comes back out here to Danilo. The pass is behind Casemiro. It's loose. Here come Norway. Sorloth on the ball. Support on his right from Ødegaard. Haaland is in the middle. Brazil players just jockeying for position here. Ødegaard threateningly moves in field from right to left. Now then, Nusa, edge of the penalty area, onto the right foot, looks for Ødegaard with the pass. Might still fall for him. Angle suddenly got tight. He turns away from goal, still has it inside the Brazil penalty area, sets up the left-footed shot, hits the side netting. Alisson had it covered. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
Actually, not bad. That's a really good break there on the right-hand side. Odegaard's finding himself in brilliant spaces. This time he was found. There was about 2 or 3 minutes before that, the ball was wide on that area there. Solap was on the ball. If he'd have found, and it was an easy pass to find Odegaard on the right-hand side, he was away, absolutely miles away on that right-hand side. It would have been a great chance. Solak couldn't find him on that occasion. On this occasion, yeah, they managed to get it. Nothing quite come out of it. And you can see the strengths and the limitations of that Norwegian side just now. And I think Ancelotti's not stupid. He knows what they are. That's why he's making sure that every time they get the ball on the left-hand side here, Nusa, just show him inside. Just show him into danger. He's doing it every time. Nusa's a lovely player, but he's losing the ball a lot because he's doing the same thing all the time.
Guimaraes' ball out from the back was not good enough for Cunha. Made it a 50-50. Norway have won it. Not moving particularly at pace here, but Ryerson has it on the right-hand side. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Winners to face Mexico or England, whoever wins in the big one in the Azteca tonight. Full commentary on the way here on 5 Live. It kicks off at 1 o'clock UK time. Hegem receives it in the centre circle. You can see all the footfall around the centre circle there. The pitch looks absolutely perfect from way on high, but you can see the foot trails where the players have been making their marks. It comes to Müller-Wölfer in the inside left channel. Nusa now gets it onto his right foot. Cross looking for Haaland. Little flick from Haaland trying to lob Alisson. He leaps in the air and catches that very easily. Nice try.
Finally a cross that Haaland can have a dig at, have a go at. And he's got it on target. He's flicked it behind. There was no power on it, and there's no chance Alisson's going to drop that one. But again, you do wonder why teams, and it sometimes happens with City as well, why they don't get the ball to him just that little bit quicker, because he comes alive when the ball's within a few yards of him. Erling Haaland.
Gabriel's on the ball for Brazil. Casemiro closest to him, just inside the Norway half. Marquinhos to Guimaraes. Guimaraes, who had the chance from the penalty spot early on in the game to put Brazil in front. Goalkeeper Nyland guessed the right way. Ball looking for Cunha down the inside right channel, flicked away by Berger. Was there a high boot there from Martinelli? Referee says play on. Eventually decides to blow his whistle and give that decision. In terms of the other World Cup football, after Mexico-England, we will have 4 more last 16 commentaries for you. Portugal-Spain tomorrow night at 8 p.m. I think that game's in Dallas. I think that's Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton with that one. USA-Belgium in the early hours of Tuesday morning at 1 a.m. The big story today, the following Balogun, having received the red card in the last game, will be allowed to play in that game for the USA. The red card, the suspension as it were, has been suspended, which is a massive talking point here. Argentina-Egypt at 5, Switzerland-Colombia at 9, all to come tomorrow. Sorlot's cross from the right, blocked by Santos. Ryerson is there quickly for Norway. Ryerson moving away from goal here, followed by Santos, needs support. Ayer is there.
They're doing well, aren't they, Norway? They're actually holding the ball well. Brazil are almost wanting to play, on the counter. And you understand that because the pace they've got, the quality they've got, and quite a lot of times they've found themselves with 2-2s or 3-3s or 4-4s, and they'll back themselves to get something out of that eventually. They've got a penalty out of it already, but that's how they're trying to play this game just now, on the counter.
Nusa trying to dribble in field, tackled. Ryan is there, deep for Brazil though inside his own half. Loose pass, headed forward, chested down here and volleyed away to Guimaraes. Guimaraes holds off the challenge of Müller-Wölfer. Casemiro quickly in support. Casemiro's now started 15 of 16 games under Carlo Ancelotti. Ancelotti, the first, in inverted commas, foreigner to manage Brazil at a World Cup, and no foreigner as such has ever won the World Cup in charge of another nation. That's what Thomas Tuchel's trying to do for England. It's what Carlo Ancelotti is trying to do for Brazil. It's what Roberto Martinez is trying to do for Portugal. It's never happened before. Here's Ryan, number 26 on his back, the 19-year-old, strokes it back to Casemiro, lines up a left-footed strike, in it comes, blocked by Hegem. Ball spinning out of the penalty area. Gabriel moves towards it, stuns it with his left boot, passes to his right to Danilo. Casemiro again, similar position, 40 yards out, and this time he decides to come back towards the halfway line and it goes left.
He's having one of those games where he's controlling it really nicely, Casemiro, just now. He's not been put under a huge amount of pressure. There's not players breaking that off him from midfield that he has to chase. But given the ball in that sort of time there, he controls parts of games.
Ryerson wins the latest personal duel with Vinicius. Vinicius wins the ball back off Ødegaard. Martinelli looking for Vinicius onto the left foot. Good save at the near post by Nyland. Vinicius was quick as a flash there. Norway thought the danger had gone, but in he went, won it back from Martin Ødegaard and really tested Nyland, the Norwegian goalkeeper.
Well, Ødegaard's fallen for what I have to say Scotland for quite a few times when they played against Brazil. You don't take chances, you don't take it easy when you're in the box because they are so fast.
They've taken the corner quickly. They've given it to Vinicius again, on the move at speed. This time the pass goes awry. Nusa, that's a poor ball out. I mean, he didn't have an option forward, but he couldn't hold on to it. Douglas Santos, the left back, decides to come back to Alisson, midway inside his own half. Looks like a giant bearded blackcurrant, Alisson does today in that goalkeeping uniform. And that's a miscontrol from Vinicius on the left-hand side. The ball gets away from him and goes out for a throw into Norway in the right-back position. So just 5 minutes left in the first half, Pat. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
Yeah, and take a picture of that. Vinicius Jr. having a bad touch there, and it was a terribly poor touch. I think the Norwegians will be delighted with this. I think they'll come more into the game. They started well, then there was a period you were slightly concerned about them. The penalty then happened. Had that penalty been scored, this would have been, you would imagine, a completely different game. The Brazilians might have been able to pick them off if they pushed forward a little bit too much. But as is, Norwegians have been able to get back into their shape, into the game they want to play. There's a couple of things that surprised me. I have mentioned it a few times. They've got the right winger out there who he's not great at controlling the ball. He can't go past his man, and you're wanting balls played into the striker, which has happened now.
Towards Haaland has caused problems. Gabriel is back there. It went over Marquinhos' head. It bounced. Gabriel saw the danger, got there just in time. But twice, Pat, they've tried it, and twice it's caused real problems.
It is, and it's a simple one. You know, I don't know why they don't want to try it a little bit more often. I mean, it may well be that that's something you go to later in the game, but at the moment, it is worrying Marquinhos.
Norway win the ball in the centre circle. Nusa on the dribble, forward to Haaland. Here we go, up against Gabriel, edge of the penalty. Haaland on his left foot, plays it to Ødegaard. Ødegaard shoots. That's blocked at the near post by Danilo, who celebrates the defensive work, but Norway have won themselves a corner, so the big men will rumble forward again, 0-0.
Were you surprised that he didn't have a shot at goal? I was absolutely stunned and shocked. Yeah, there's a couple of men coming towards him there, but that's where Haaland loves. Gets the ball round about the 18-yard line. He's got the momentum. He's running towards the goal, but he just passes it off. Almost takes the easy option on this occasion, which is not his style usually.
Haaland lurking at the far post. I mean, I'll probably be fooled by this, but there's 4 of them gathered at the back post. But now they move away, so Haaland's at walking pace, heading back towards the penalty spot. Suddenly bursts into life. Corner comes in from the left. That's poor delivery. Headed away at the near post by Cunha. Bounces up for Nusa, flicks a header to his right. Ryerson gets there first, nods it forward, laid off by Hegem, lofted up in the air. Sorloth can't go for that because he's in an offside position, and like a good rugby union fullback, Alisson says my ball, catches it and takes the mark.
At the risk of getting in before Mark Chapman asked me the question at half-time, the quality of crosses, considering the height of players that Norway have got, has been absolutely woeful, and particularly corner kicks as well. If you have got that advantage, for goodness sake, you've got to use it. They've not done that at all.
Casemiro forward to Cunha. Hegem's lost it to Cunha on the edge of the box. Vinicius trying to wriggle his way through a very tight space, couldn't do it. That's a good ball from Ryerson outside of his right foot. Gabriel goes across to cover. So this is Sorloth against Gabriel. Sorloth stopped though, and Brazil have got back.
He's not going to go down the line, is he? Sorloth. He's got 1-on-1 with a fullback. He's got acres and acres of space, and he's going to come inside. Again, I know why you do it, and he's physically a big player, and he's an important player, but if you've got a natural in Oscar Bob who can play there, who's a great player there, who's won, well, when he's come on he's looked fantastic as well, but he started against the French, he was very, very good.
Heading into the last minute of the first half, Brazil 0, Norway 0. Mark Chapman back with us at half-time. We'll continue the build-up to Mexico-England. Kicks off at 1 a.m. I hope you're getting ready for that one back home. John Murray and Paul Robinson with the commentary. Last we heard from our football correspondent John Murray, he was circling the Azteca looking for a parking space. That can't be easy, Pat.
He wouldn't be enjoying that. But we do know the feeling.
Yes.
There's a lot of stadiums here where they've got an unusual attitude towards signage.
Well, producer John Southall, I think, must have walked a good 2 miles to get our parking pass today.
You've got a place to park to go and get the parking pass, which happens to be about 2 miles.
Yes, exactly.
Madness.
Back it comes to Nyland. How much added time are we going to get at the end of this first half? We'll find out in about 20 seconds. Nieland, all in green, has made two really important saves in the game. Sharp one at the near post from Vinicius. Got a little bit lucky with a Vinicius effort that hit his leg and went across the goal line. Saved the penalty from Guimaraes. Haaland's come deep to get involved. Wins it for Norway. Plays it to his right-hand side. The red shirts, the Vikings, start to swarm forward, but Sorloth slows it down on the right. Plays it back to Rierson. That's Berger. Berger goes wide to Sorloth. Chance to cross here, decides to go for it, and that, Pat, is not a good cross. Blocked by Martinelli.
Do you know what you do? You beat the first man. Kind of number one of the wide player. When you get in a position and you've got plenty of space, you beat the first player. You know, you just do it each time. It's not a difficult thing to do. And again, it's not an abuse of Sorloth because that's not his position. He's in the middle now for a long throw. That's his position. That would suit him better.
6 minutes of added time. We're just into them. In comes the throw. Long, flat, powerful. Cunha does well to leap and head it away. Straight back to Rierson. Rierson could try and beat Martinelli. He's got the pace to stick with him. Blocked by Martinelli. Norway have a corner. They'll certainly take that late in the first half. We look to our left. 3 tiers steepling up away into the distance. Absolutely packed with yellow Brazilian shirts, but there are red shirts in there as well, Pat, and you spotted a lovely interaction before the game between the Brazilians and the Norwegians.
They were doing the rowing. I wish they'd do it again at some point, and a Brazilian with a huge Brazilian yellow flag in the middle of it was going the other way as if he was lashing the rowers. It was up, and they were loving it. Yeah. It was brilliant.
Corner then for Norway, 0-0 late in the first half. Ødegaard, this one's deep to the far post, headed back across goal by Sorloth. Down to Martinelli. Martinelli tries to dribble out. Straight up the pitch he goes. Pushes his pass forward, but can't find Vinicius. Played back to the goalkeeper by Muller-Wolfe.
I think one of the other things that listeners at home will be thinking, well, you know, how hot is it? The last game of 5 Live, it was us yesterday talking about this incredible 100+ degrees heat. It's not like that today. We're only, what, 2 hours drive away, but it's damp. I mean, it's 80, 81, 82, 83, something like that. Yes, it's warm, but it's nowhere near like it was yesterday.
No, that weather broke in Philadelphia last night after the game. There was heavy rain, but much cooler here today. There has been the threat of storms in the weather forecast, and we were told around about now, but at the moment, and I'm only just looking above me, the skies aren't quite as leaden and heavy and grey as they were, so definitely fingers crossed on that one. Weather report will be important from Mexico City as well. That'll be coming up shortly. We're 3 minutes into 6 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. The ball is back with Ørjan Nieland, Norway's 35-year-old goalkeeper, who's had a magic moment in this World Cup game. Haaland battling with Gabriel, might get the better of him. Marquinhos is there to help out. Falls to Ødegaard, left-footed drive. Alisson's out and gets down and smothers it. So nearly crept under his body and fizzed into the back of the net. Crucial intervention from Brazil's goalkeeper.
Again, we keep on saying, why don't you do it more often? It's the old one-touch move. Just leathering it up to Haaland. Creates utter mayhem there. He thought about going down, didn't he? He was through on goal there. He thought about going down. He didn't. He probably did the right thing because he was outside the box. It was 19 yards out there. But get it to Haaland. He's causing mayhem when you give them the ball.
3 times that's happened, and 3 times it's taken 2 of them to deal with him. And Marquinhos was to the rescue there because Haaland's physicality bumped Gabriel out of the action. Norway know it's possible. Guimaraes onto the ball for Brazil. Norway with defending to do now as we tick down towards half-time. Guimaraes' pass out to the right finds Danilo. Danilo back to Casemiro in a central position, 35 yards out, given to Guimaraes, moving from right to left, and wide it goes to Vinicius. Rierson comes towards Vinicius, who tries to take it on the outside, still has the ball at his feet, zips it back to Guimaraes, tees himself up, right-footed shot, headed, I think, by Cunha to his right-hand side. The ball falls at the feet of Danilo. Casemiro's first-time cross, great ball, nearly found Martinelli, who was on the run. Couldn't direct the header on target. It goes behind for a goal kick. I think he might have been onside.
Yeah, a foot lower, and you think that's got to be a goal there. Lovely ball, late run into the box there. No one's back him, he's well inside. You spotted that right there, Alistair. And I'll say a foot, I'll say 3 inches lower. And he would have got in the end of that. Very, very unlucky. And again, a great opportunity. That's about 3 now, I'd say, that are clear cut, including the penalty kick that they've got. The Brazilian team, not quite clicked for them yet, but you've got to say the Norwegians have got 1 or 2 as well. There's not a lot in this game, not much at all.
90 seconds left in added time at the end of the first half. Berg lumps it high in the air. Sorloth controls it wide on the right. Douglas Santos behind him. Ødegaard's got to scamper and sprint to get to that ball first. He got there just in time. Now he receives it in a more comfortable position. Quickly moves it on to Sander Berge. Wide to Sorloth. Santos breathing down his neck behind him. Berge passes back to the halfway line. Norway content here, last minute of the first half, just to move the ball around if an opportunity presents itself, like this possibly for Nusa. He's very deep here, not going to take his man on. Passes back across the midfield to Berge. Floated ball down the middle. Ødegaard's made the run. Gabriel's got it covered. It bounces and it's into the hands of Alisson, who bowls it out underarm quickly to Martinelli, who turns inside his own half. He's brought to the ground by Ryerson. That'll be a free kick. Brazil will take it quickly. The ref's happy with that. Casemiro passes to Vinicius. Vinicius is up against Ayer. He'll absolutely love that. He takes the ball infield, step over. Ryerson is back to help out. Vinicius still going. Past Ayer with speed. Down Vinicius goes. The referee is not buying that, and Christopher Ayer comes over and says to Vinicius Jr. something like, "You're better than that."
Possibly so. Possibly a little bit stronger than that as well. But there's a little tug of the shirt. There's no doubt there is a tug of the shirt there. It's not enough to make him fall over the way he did. He feels his shirt being tugged and he threw himself to the ground. And that's the difference in this World Cup. That they're not allowing that, not accepting that at all. And it's just a change in the rules. They're changing the way the rules are looked at. And it's the last bit of danger that the Norwegians have to deal with in this half.
Engrossing first half. No goals in New Jersey. Brazil have had the better chances. Neelan's definitely been the busier goalkeeper. Saved the penalty from Bruno Guimaraes. Couple of other saves from Vinicius as well. But Pat, every time they've gone long down the middle towards Haaland, whether he's up against Marquinhos or Gabriel, it's caused pandemonium at the back for Brazil.
You see every time, but it's not been often enough. It's been 3 or 4 times, no more than that. And it looks as if he's just walking about. But we've watched that with Erling Haaland before. But when it's put through there, he is so up for it. He's like a monster. He's like a threshing machine when he's going through there. Almost unstoppable. And there's stuff coming off. The balls are bouncing everywhere. And you just need to get near him and get around him and make sure that, you know, if there's little bits, you pick them up. And that's what Ødegaard almost did in one occasion there. So that's certainly one ploy they can use. Another ploy the Norwegians can use is get the ball and get it into the middle. They've got it wide a couple of times. The second part of that has been a problem. They just do not get it in the middle with any quality.
The changing rooms in this stadium, or locker rooms as they call them over here, are at either end of the ground. Brazil exit stage left, Norway exit stage right. The pitch is clear. It is half-time. It's Brazil 0, Norway 0.
I mean, the problem, Pat, there is when they do get it out wide, they tend to get it out wide to the right, and then they don't have the ability to get round a man to then get the ball in.
They've got less than that ability. Not even around the man. They just hit it at the player, and again bounces off him. Usually again off Sorloth and goes back. Again, not abusing Sorloth. I mean, it's like asking me to play in goal, and you'll do it, but you'll not do it very well. You know, it's just the wrong position for the player. But then you always play to that guy. You're thinking, well, with that amount of possession against a top nation, you've got to use that possession well, and they're not using that possession well in that situation. And even, you know, a simple thing like get the ball wide up on the right hand side, they'll lay it back to the fullback who'll then put it in. But they've been a bit reticent about for Ryerson to put it in from those positions as well. And I have to say, I admire Erling Haaland, because I don't know why he's not shouting ball.
Yeah,
maybe he's doing it already.
He went into double figures with the number of touches he had towards the end of the first half. He's had the least number of touches out of all of the 22 players. And you look at the havoc that he caused just with the one long ball that led to the Martin Ødegaard shot. You said it. I don't. If you have somebody like him, why do you not play to the strength?
It's kind of beyond me. I mean, you always, as an ex-player, particularly one who was one of his creator as a player, you think, well, I'd love to have him playing up there. You know, you'd make space to always put it into an area that he could attack all the time. That would be the raison d'etre. That's why you're there. And it's just not happening. It's really weird. And even on the left-hand side, I love the movement of Nusa. He just goes inside all the time. He's looking for that shot. You know, going inside and he's right foot to have a shot. And of course, Brazil, they're sitting there going, you know, we've got Havana cigars out thinking, we know exactly what you're going to do, and stop them doing it and catch them and then breaking them as well. So, you know, both managers have got questions to ask. I mean, we're talking a lot about the Norwegians just now, oddly, because actually, in a way, they're kind of the more impressive because we've got a little bit more of the ball. It feels as if they've been a wee bit more progressive, and the Brazilians are waiting to play in the break with the pace that they've got.
They've had quite a lot more of the ball, actually. The stats just come on the monitor. Brazil have only had 33% possession in that first half. So that really does highlight how much Norway have had the ball more than their Brazilian counterparts.
I'm happy you said that. You got him out of the hole there, because I was saying it without looking at the figures and thinking, if I've got that right, you're going to hammer me here.
No, not
I've got lucky.
And I have one other thing, and you may have seen this, Ali, I don't know, but I know you like a quiz. The last Brazilian player to miss a penalty at a World Cup, not in a shootout.
Not in a shootout, right. So I'll tell you, Mark, I don't know who it is. I know the year, because I have a good friend of mine who's just moved to Brazil. He's just started living there, and he's sitting in a bar watching with loads of Brazilians. And to try and help me, he's just told me that the first Brazilian to do that, he's the first Brazilian to do that since 1986. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So 1986 World Cup. I mean, I know in the shootout Socrates missed one. I'll throw Socrates out.
No. But I mean, not far off saying the other one, really.
It wasn't Zico, was it?
Zico.
It was.
Wow.
It was Zico.
I never get questions right in quizzes. I'm so happy with that.
Zico in 1986 against France. 1986 in Mexico, of course. Let's go there now. England's game there should be a 1 a.m. kickoff. You can watch it on BBC One. You can listen to it with us here on 5 Live. John Murray is live from the Azteca. I'm trying to hear what weather there may be in the background. Is that rain?
No, it's not rain. But if you listen for a little longer, you might hear an almighty crack of thunder. And we actually have received information from FIFA, and at the moment there is a shelter-in-place order at the Azteca Stadium. So the FIFA missive says, due to severe weather, the stadium has issued a shelter-in-place order. We will continue to provide updates as new information becomes available. So listen to this. That is a rumble and a half. And on the big screens, I'm sitting in our commentary position, so we are safe where we are. And on the big screens, massive rectangular screens high up either end of the Azteca, written on there in actually Spanish and English, please remain in your seats. Now, as far as I can tell, I don't think it's rained yet. And I have there's a really dramatic bolt of lightning. And listen to this. Goodness me, it's like Sherlock Holmes.
I mean, I'm just wondering how long are we going to keep commentating on the thunder?
Well, but everyone loves the thunderstorm.
I know, it is dramatic. It is
so I was on the concourse, Mark, walking around the concourse. I was actually on the phone to Elliot, our producer, and I nearly jumped out of my skin because there was a bolt of lightning, forked lightning, that struck somewhere, probably maybe 5-6 miles away. And, it was really dramatic. It was like a bolt of lightning out of a Hammer horror film. So that's what's happening now. And we are still 3 hours away from kickoff, aren't we? And in my experience here, and this is very much the amateur view, you need to get someone on from the weather centre who is actually qualified to talk about this. But in the time, I was here obviously in the lead up to the tournament. We had this sort of weather almost every day, late afternoon, early evening. Sometimes the storms lasted a little longer, but very often when the storm took place, it would then move on. So that very much is my amateur weather analysis.
Thank you very much. When shall I come back for some more weather analysis from you?
Well, is Louise Lear available?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the weather presenter rotor in front of me.
Do you remember she came and helped us out at the Open?
She did help us out on the Open, and I think I saw Thomas Schaffenacker on a TV channel a little while ago. So I'll have an ask around, shall I?
Oh, and now the rain's begun. The rain is absolutely torrential now. It's suddenly the heavens have opened in Mexico City. So let's hope that this happens now and gets moved on. And again, just to repeat, there is a shelter-in-place order at the stadium. And for those who don't know, and I'm sure most people do know by now, if there is lightning within 8 miles of a World Cup stadium, then there will not be any play.
Right. Were you in the running to take over from Carol Kirkwood, do you know?
Not that I heard. Why, was there something on social media?
I know. Back with John later. Stay safe in all seriousness out there. So it should be a 1 a.m. kickoff. We will obviously keep you up to date with what is happening in Mexico City. There is some team news starting to come through, according to the BBC. Their understanding is Jarrell Quansah is set to start for England at right back. And that Bukayo Saka and Anthony Gordon will then come in on either flank in place of Noni Madueke and Marcus Rashford. So that is the understanding of the BBC this evening. Second half commentary of Brazil-Norway on the way. It's exactly 10 o'clock. Here's Alison Hughes.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK and the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Thanks, Mark. So as you were hearing from John Murray there, weather forecasters say England's knockout match against World Cup co-host Mexico could be disrupted by thunderstorms. If there's lightning within 8 miles of the Azteca Stadium, the game can be delayed or stopped, and it won't continue until half an hour after the last strike. Kick-off is still due at 1 a.m. We'll have all the build-up and full commentary here on 5 Live. Reform UK says no rules have been broken after the Sunday Times alleged that Nigel Farage failed to declare benefits given by an ally who'd been convicted of fraud in the United States. The Liberal Democrats want the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner to investigate the claims. EasyJet says it's reached an agreement in principle to be taken over by the US investment firm Castlelake. If it goes ahead, the deal would be worth around £5.2 billion. And 14 people, including an 84-year-old retired priest, have been arrested for showing support for the banned organisation Palestine Action at a protest outside the Metropolitan Police headquarters. The demonstration was marking a year since the ban began.
5 Live Sports.
After the final whistle has sounded,
I think it's safe to say there's only one place to start.
Dive deeper into the World Cup on BBC Sounds.
I think it's the right decision.
It restores your faith in sport.
Discover a range of podcasts featuring analysis, in-depth interviews and stories you may never have heard before.
We have a slight problem with our commentary position. And I said, we can't see half of the pitch.
From the Football Daily
To the Wayne Rooney Show.
and Gamescom.
The Steve Bratnell Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sports
At the FIFA World Cup 2026.
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Goalless between Norway and Brazil at half-time. Second half on the way. Brazil missed a penalty as well. We've obviously got Alistair Bruce Ball and Pat Nevin in the MetLife Stadium. Luis Miguel Echegari is there as well, US football journalist. Are you in amongst the fans? Are you in the press box? Where are you, Luis Miguel?
Hey, chappers, I managed to get out of all the madness that is the Brazilian fan base, and I managed to escape for a little bit to take a break. It's quite the atmosphere here, but, I expected it as much. Brazilians have come in numbers. There's a lot that live in New Jersey and New York City, so I'm not surprised at all that the Seleção is here in spirit and, of course, literally speaking, all over the place.
But they've bemused at the way the penalty was taken.
I mean, I think I was looking to my left-hand side, which is basically where the majority of the fan base is, or at least where all the noise is coming from. And the moment Bruno Guimarães did that stutter step, they knew it was coming. I was actually sitting next to a Brazilian reporter, and he said to me, I knew that this was going to happen. The moment they thought that stutter step was going to happen, because, Brazilian or not, you just know that it's just such a dubious, I feel, silly way to take a pen. Just do an Alan Shearer, run up and smash it. And that did not happen.
Although the interesting thing with Brazil is that Rafinha or Igor Thiago have been taking their penalties recently, because the automatic response is, why has Vinicius Junior not taken that? He last took a penalty for Brazil in November 2024 and he didn't score.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised that Vinny didn't take it at all. I was surprised, to your point, about why Bruno Guimarães took it in the first place. There was a little bit of a confusion. In fact, during the World Cup qualifiers, Brazil was actually known for this, just to rotate the thinking of penalty takers, specifically ever since the injuries of Neymar Jr. I really thought that under Carlo Ancelotti, there was going to be more of a consistency when it comes to this decision-making, but it's not to be. And Guimarães obviously really messed that up, and it obviously stays 0-0, as we all know.
What are your thoughts on Mexico-England later?
I'm going to tell you something. I've been to the Azteca. I've been to Mexico City. I've covered that team for a long time. And obviously, you know, my connection with the English national team. There is not an atmosphere that is going to compare to what we're going to see tonight. It's going to be majestic. It's going to be incredible. And I think that England will be focused and ready. But I'm telling you, you can't even hear yourself think in that stadium, let alone talk. So it's going to be a very special atmosphere.
Okay, Lewis, thank you, Lewis Miguel. Thank you very much, Lewis Miguel. Ed Shagari, US football journalist and South American football expert with us on 5 Live. Sport teams starting to come back out at MetLife. We'll head back to Ali and Pat shortly, but to Jonathan Overend at Wimbledon first.
Where I've just seen Yannick Sinner complete victory in the 4th round of the men's singles, 6-3, 7-6, 6-3 against the Japanese qualifier Shintaro Mochizuki. And while it looks pretty regulation when you see the scoreline, it was anything but, because the Japanese, 151 in the world, played the perfect Wimbledon underdog match. He made life tricky, he changed things up, he experimented, he served and volleyed, and Sinner was getting quite irritated at one point in that match, but managed to come through in straight sets. And we still have action on court 1, Mark, deep into the night, where Coco Gauff is locked at 1-set-all with Belinda Bencic.
Thank you. Elsewhere today, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc won the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. George Russell in 2nd, Lewis Hamilton 3rd. Kimi Antonelli finished 16th, so his lead has been cut to 25 points at the top of the championship. Australia thrashed England to win the Women's T20 World Cup by 7 wickets. Wakefield, Leeds and Wigan were the winners on the second day of Rugby League's Magic Weekend. And following Balogun's 1-match ban for a red card has been suspended by FIFA, allowing him to play in the USA's last 16 match against Belgium. The Belgians themselves have said in a statement, it is astonished by FIFA's decision and are investigating all options. Second half about to get underway in New Jersey. I think Pat will like the Norwegian changes, Ali.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Countdown to the second half is underway. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Orjan Nyland, the Norwegian goalkeeper, saving the Bruno Guimarães penalty. Brazil playing from right to left in the second half, get us underway. So the one change for them from their last 32 win against Japan has seen Gabriel Martinelli come in for Lucas Paquetá. Martinelli has kicked us off. Alisson's played the ball downfield. Cunha is wrestling with Hegem, but Hegem is able to hold him off, and it goes behind for a goal kick. They've changed both wide men, Pat, which I imagine Antonio Nusa might feel a little bit disgruntled about. So Sorloth and Nusa off, and on come Andreas Schjelderup of Benfica on the left-hand side, Oscar Bob on the right.
Well, first of all, you know I'm not surprised by Oscar Bob coming on, as Mark was subtly hinting at. Sorloth just wasn't getting the ball in the middle and can't play that position. Right, so good decision there. I'm not either particularly surprised by Schjelderup in the far side. He did very well the first time I watched him. He was playing for basically what was the B side, but he did very well. And the problem with Nusa, great skills, lovely on the ball, did the same thing every single time the Brazilians knew what he was going to do and kept on catching him and breaking on him. So I fully understand why both of those wingers were changed.
John Murray will keep us updated on the weather in Mexico City. Mexico-England due to kick off at 1 o'clock in the morning UK time. Full commentary here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. You can listen to our commentary as you watch the pictures via the BBC iPlayer. If you can't stay up tonight, rerun on BBC 2 just after 7 o'clock in the morning. Extended highlights on the iPlayer as well. Here's Ryan. Early attack down the right for Brazil second half. Left-footed cross comes in. Hegem volleys it away. The other thing, Pat, I remember commentating on Norway-Scotland with you. Once Bob is playing, if you're a Blackadder fan, like you and I both are, it's impossible not to say Bob.
Yes, impossible.
So I apologise for that if that continues throughout the second half. Gabriel, diagonal ball away to the right. Ryan chests it down. That's a handball. Schjelderup immediately appealed for it. Assistant referee right behind put the flag up. So just to repeat on the stats, Norway looking to reach a World Cup quarter-final for the first time in their history, and Brazil, it will be, if they lose the game, just because it is Brazil and they're standing, it will be an ignominious exit. They've not lost the last 16 games since Italia 90, so if it happens today, it'll be the first time in 9 World Cups.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, it would be a surprise but not a shock.
Yeah.
You know, you say, oh really? In days gone by it would have been amazing, but the way the game's gone just now, it's absolutely on a knife edge. You wouldn't really want to guess. I would say just by chances created, the Brazilians have got a little bit more, but then they haven't got Haaland. That's what it comes down to, you'd think.
Yellow shirts, blue shorts, white socks, Brazil. Red shirts with the big blue cross on the front for Norway. White shorts and dark blue socks. Brazil have Alisson in goal, Danilo, Marquinhos, Gabriel and Douglas Santos, Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro in midfield, Ryan, Martinelli, Vinicius Junior and Mateus Cunha. Norway have the ball inside their own half with Julian Riasson. He's at right back, Muller Wolfer at left back, goalkeeper is Nieland. Ayer and Hegem, the two centre-backs, Ødegaard, Berger and Berg in midfield, and then the wide men have changed, so it's Schjelderup and Bob either side of Erling Haaland, who is looking for his 6th goal of this tournament to tuck himself just 1 goal behind Messi and Mbappe. He's looking for his 61st goal in only his 54th international. Crazy numbers at every level of the game for Erling Haaland. Good dribbling from Patrick Berg, hits the right-footed shot. That's dreadful, miles over the bar. That's gone about 25 rows back into those Norwegian fans, and they've got a section of the stand there, Pat, in the lower tier that has them lined up like they're in a longboat. I mean, if they win this game, that is where we're looking at the end.
Absolutely. It's odd. It's almost made for the longboat.
It is, isn't it?
It looks like a longboat. So just that moment, that shot from Berg there, it was so high over the crossbar that that's hard to do, even if you try and do it. I mean, he's got to look for the bobble, but it doesn't look like many bobbles down in that pitch.
No, we've had plenty of chat about altitude in the build-up to Mexico-England. That certainly was altitude from little Patrick Berg. He's won a good header there, though. Nods it to his left-hand side to Schjelderup.
I think the man on the ball just now is probably the most important man in the team after, obviously, Haaland. I think if you get the ball to Ødegaard, he will start finding Bob. If he found the way he did in the first half, found the attacking wide players in the first half, he couldn't get crosses in. I'm sure Bob will.
Coming up to 4 minutes gone, second half. Nice breeze just blowing around the top tier here of the New York, New Jersey Stadium. Norway playing left to right in the second half. Throw in level with the edge of the Brazilian penalty area on the right from Riasson. We are wide open to the elements in this stadium, but no problem at the moment. But a weak sunshine is starting to appear through the clouds above us. Norway have lost it. That'll be a throw-in to Brazil, which will be taken by the left-back Douglas Santos.
It's quite a subdued start to the second half, really, isn't it? Really surprising when consider how much is on this. I mean, I'm sure it will slowly but surely build as the half goes on. And of course there is that bit that players don't want to make the mistake that costs their country and sends them out of the World Cup, but slightly subdued start to the second half. Here's
Berg, plays it back to Muller Wolfer. Sander Berger inside his own half, turns, passes to his right to Christopher Ayer of Brentford, who breathed a huge sigh of relief when Nieland dug him out of a big hole with the Bruno Guimaraes penalty save, because it was not a good challenge. It was ill-advised, it was mistimed, and it definitely caught Mateus Cunha. And how the referee didn't see it in real time, I'm really not too sure, because he seemed to have quite a good view of it. Bob went on a little dribble down the right there. Now he's looking to try and win the ball back, but Brazil have got it to Guimaraes, just outside his own penalty area. Passes back to the hugely experienced Marquinhos. Ball down the right to Ryan. Ryan had to work hard to hold on to that. Danilo, that's not the best ball, high across his own half. Martinelli misses the header. Ødegaard's behind him to collect for Norway. Passes neatly back to Riasson. Ayer quickly on to Berger, and Berger, as soon as he saw Ødegaard coming towards him, just said, right, that's your ball, you get on with it. Ødegaard thought about a dart forward, lays it off to Berger.
He's played well, Ødegaard. Again, if you're talking about Casemiro controlling parts of the game for Brazil, Ødegaard's definitely a player for the Norwegians just now to do that. He picks it up in brilliant areas. If there's a pass on, there's a space on, he's going to find it. Now, we know he's been doing that for Arsenal for a long time, but to be honest, I think he's more comfortable here because he's the main man. There's nobody else to question him. Everything will come through him, and some players just love that, to be the core of it, and he is the core of it just now.
The one I remember late in the season, crucial pass that created the goal late against West Ham. Game Arsenal went on to win, but that was only after Callum Wilson's shot ended up in the back of the net, and there was a long VAR check, and they spotted the foul on the goalkeeper, David Raya. But Ødegaard's intervention at that point in the game, there was no one else that could unlock it like he did to create that goal for Trossard, and that is what Norway are looking for him to do. And he's jogging around looking for space at the moment. Sun is out now, splashed across the pitch beneath us. Ødegaard turns right on the centre circle, diagonal pass, sees a bit of space. Schjelderup on the move, support from Müller-Wölfer on the left, early cross, nowhere near Haaland. Marquinhos says thank you very much and clears it away first time, and Hegem's ball is loose and goes out for a throw-in to Brazil on the right inside their own half.
I mean, it was almost a game of chess there for such a long time. The Norwegians had the ball, and eventually the pass was played, and of course it was that man Ødegaard who played the pass. It created a little bit of space to go out left. Another terrible cross. I mean, absolutely awful cross. Didn't be the first man again. And again, Haaland just wants somebody to give him the ball.
Here he is, Haaland flicks it to his left-hand side. Schjelderup, Haaland makes a concerted move to get into the middle quickly. Schjelderup is tackled. Brazil start to play out. Casemiro's first-time ball. Martinelli space to run into, but Bob is quick and catches up with him, which means Martinelli has to stop, turn, play it to his left, but the momentum continues. And Vinicius now glides into view. Step over, takes him away from Bob, knocks it past Rierson. Chance for Brazil, another touchdown by the dead ball line, and it's blocked by Ayer. And that is going to be a corner for Brazil. Ayer claims he knocked it back into the shins of Vinicius, and it should be a goal kick.
Tough one to call, actually. It could have been either way there, and the referee looked at it for a long time and then decided to go for the corner kick. But once again, Vinny Jr., I mean, it does look pretty special when he runs at players. It's that ease, as I say. The first man's a given, absolute given. He's got to go by him. And it was brilliant the way he did. It was so little effort.
Pat Nevin, former Scotland international, with us in New Jersey. Corner for Brazil, early stages of the second half. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Waiting for the referee to be satisfied with all the shenanigans inside the penalty area. He is now. Delivery comes from Cunha into the near post, looking for the flick header. Ball is loose inside that Norway penalty area. Marquinhos threw himself at a headed chance at the near post, didn't make contact, and now Norway can bring it away down the left, pass back into the penalty area. Had Hegem running for it, but there was no Brazil player anywhere near him, so passes to Ayer, and now Ødegaard, little back heel here, and Berger just comes jogging forward, ball at his feet. Brazil back off, and this is at a very slow, sedate pace.
Yes, it is, but you almost blame Brazil more for that, because you expect more from Brazil. They're sitting back and allowing the Norwegians that possession in that midfield area, and we're getting on towards the hour, 55 minutes gone. If they sleepwalk into going out of the World Cup, the Brazilians, by doing this, then lose a late goal to, say, Haaland, their press will go wild with anger that they didn't seem to have as much of a go as you'd expect them to.
No, in that instance, you cannot imagine the reaction, the furore back home. Ayer, so much possession for Norway in the game. Brazil inside their own half, sitting deep. Ødegaard ball at his feet, passes to his left, across the halfway line to Berger. Berger, one of the many players with the big holes in the back of his dark blue socks. Forward to Bob. Bob spins away from Martinelli. Good run made by Patrick Berg. It's gone wide this time to Schjelderup. Schjelderup on the angle, brings it into the penalty area. Low cross is blocked there. Schjelderup will have another go. Müller-Wölfer is with him and behind him. Tackle is made by Danilo. Last touch comes off the Norwegian. Throw in for Brazil in the right back position. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
But once again, we spend it. It's strange. You expect to spend your whole time talking about Brazil, don't you? And we're not really. We're probably talking a little bit more than about Norway, because they're getting into the better positions. When they get Ødegaard on the ball, it's fantastic. When they get Oscar Bob on the ball, you think, well, something can happen, and it almost always does when he gets on the ball. So you kind of want that. You know, the players you want to see on the ball are obviously Vinicius Jr. He's brilliant when he gets it. But Bob looks great, and Ødegaard looks great, and of course that man Haaland, he's not had a touch yet in the second half. He's not bad as well.
Early change coming for Brazil in the second half. Norway made the double change on the wingers at half-time. Carlo Ancelotti is making his move. We just had a close-up of Woody Harrelson in the stands here. You went to visit the bar, didn't you, Pat, in Boston?
Certainly did. A Cheers fanatic I am.
Well, he's got the baseball cap on. He's enjoying the soccer inside the stadium here in New Jersey.
Well, I didn't like the idea when one of my family says, "Oh, you look like Coach in there." Cheers bar. Oh, thanks.
Norway attacking down the left. Can they get a cross in to try and find Haaland? Now that is Haaland, Gabriel. Look at them. Right next to each other. Little bit of wrestling off the ball. Two giants, one in the red shirt, one in the yellow, waiting for the delivery. And both utterly focused, utterly switched on. Right, change is coming. Matheus Cunha is coming off to be replaced by 19-year-old Endrick, who also came on early, was it half-time? Can't quite remember, in the game against Japan. Certainly involved in the game against Japan. So here he is, belongs to Real Madrid, but was playing on loan at Lyon last season. Comes on with instructions because Ryan is still on the field, Martinelli is still on the field, but Endrick obviously comes on for Cunha and plays in that centre-forward role.
The one thing you will say, they are very young now. That forward line is a very young forward line for Brazil. It's a very talented forward line. You think a forward line that will be brilliant in 4 years' time. It's very good at the moment, a lot of capabilities, but it is very young.
Bob, who's added some zip on the right-hand side for Norway. Ødegaard looking to hit that straight pass to Patrick Berg. Casemiro too clever, intercepts it forward to Vinicius. Lovely trick, beats Ayer. What a pass! And he's through. Endrick. First couple of touches, second one's not good, and he's prodded it wide. Straight onto the pitch, not quite up to the speed of the game. And you wonder actually if that had fallen to Matheus Cunha, who'd been on the field since the start, whether that might have ended up in the back of the net. That is a glorious opportunity missed by Brazil.
Yeah, let's go back to the pass though. It's absolutely beautiful pass outside of the right boot, played into him by, of course, that man Vinicius Junior. And you're right, he's not quite up to the speed of the game. He's got the ball down, he's done the right thing, he's drawn the goalkeeper, and he's just put it agonisingly wide. He thinks he scored it, but it's about a foot past.
So the penalty miss in the first half, the one-on-one miss from Endrick there, the couple of Neelan saves from Vinicius. Norway have never lost to Brazil, 4 games they've played against them. 2 wins, 2 draws, and Brazilian football fans can be superstitious about things like that. They will be concerned, and it's been despite the chances, at times a slightly sort of sleepy performance from the 5 times world champions. It is still 0-0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds as we move towards England's date with destiny in the Azteca tonight on 5 Live. BBC Sounds, pictures available via BBC One if you want the option. Via the BBC iPlayer, you can have those pictures with the 5 Live commentary. Pat Nevin.
Well, the upside of this for England is, who are you afraid of?
Long ball down the middle. Haaland trying to get away from Gabriel. The ball comes off Gabriel's back, so it's worked again for Norway here. Berg passes to his right to Bob. Bob senses an opportunity, tries to dart through a tight gap there. That gap closes and Brazil are able to bring it away down the left with Santos. Plays the ball into midfield. Martinelli takes a touch. Passes to his right to Danilo. Danilo straight up to Endrick. First time ball looking for Guimarães. Ayer gets a foot on it. Played straight through the middle again. Endrick is able to control. Good touch. Brings it forward up to the edge of the area. That's ambitious. Deflection on the shot, and it comes off Hegem and goes behind for a Brazil corner.
He was winding that shot up from about 6 yards before. You can see a mile away he was going to do. And it never actually looked on though, but he's got a corner kick, so he'll be delighted with that. I mean, they've obviously got Marquinhos and Gabriel that come up, but you wonder if Brazil should maybe take 1 or 2 short corner kicks just to drag players out a little bit. But it's lifted a wee bit, lifted the fans. Endrick coming on. He was obviously a popular change, a very popular change with the Brazil fans.
Well, at the age of 19, he does have 8 goals for Brazil. I remember when he scored against England at Wembley to win a game a couple of years ago. So great chance to put Brazil in front here, couldn't take it. First couple of touches of the game for him. Corner comes in from Guimarães, stretching his knee land, punches it away. Bob with the header. Ball falls at the feet here of Douglas Santos. Not quite sure what to do, given time. Killed in towards Gabriel, nods it down. Ryan hits it. Neeland nearly fooled by that. Gets down, was moving to his left, slaps it away with his right hand. Looked like it nearly wrong-footed impact.
Yeah, I mean, but in the end you have to make it. You know, there are possibly players in front of him as well. He's taking it very early, taking it on the half volley, and he's got real power in it. And goalkeepers will always tell you the same thing. As long as you keep it out, get it away from the goal, which he did get away from the goal with a strong arm. But It's a little step up. That Hendrick change has made a difference. They've lifted the pace just that little bit.
Into the last half hour of the game. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. A 24-hour World Cup station. Vinicius speeding away down the left. Beats Rierson, of course he does. Beats another man, that's Bob, who came back to try and help. Passes back to Casemiro. Casemiro 25 yards out. Goes for the cross to the far post. Ryan nods it down. Guimaraes, what a save! Nyland off his line so quickly. Read the danger. Races out. Makes the block. It wouldn't have counted. The offside flag is up. I can calm down.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it was tight. It's one of those ones I want to see it again. I wasn't convinced of it. Oh, he is just offside, yeah. The assistant referee spotted that right. But what a brilliant save. It reminded me of the exact same move Kennedy was scoring against the Dutch 1978 World Cup. There
you go.
Exactly the same move. The thing is, Kenny put it in the top corner. This time he could have saved it.
And there we go, Pat. Slight deflection on that shot that came in from Ryan, which nearly fooled Nyland. Nyland's having a really good game, isn't he, for Norway?
He has. He's been super. He's not put a foot or a hand wrong. But on top of that, you look... They mentioned just, 7 or 8 minutes ago, are the Brazilians sleepwalking into this? Well, it looks as if they were. Since they've said that line, they've made that change. They look a different team now.
Yeah.
They're on the front foot. They're asking a lot more questions. I think they seem to have come alive to the idea of this dream could be over. It could be over in 25 minutes' time.
Carlo Ancelotti teams very often find a way. Rierson's come off to be replaced by Auersness. So Julian Rierson, who returned today, having gone off in the second game with a hamstring injury, he is off, and Fredrik Auersness, midfielder, will take his place at right back because Marcus Holmgren Pedersen is missing this game with illness. Haaland stretches to try and control the ball, edge of the Brazil box. Guimaraes volleys it away. Berger is there first for Norway. And this game could go any which way because the better chances have definitely fallen to Brazil, but Norway look very, very capable, and they do have a fella out there, 6'5" centre forward called Erling Haaland, who, as he showed us in the last round, doesn't need many touches in a game. Just give him the one chance and he'll stick it away.
Well, the other thing is, he's hardly had any touches in the second half at all, just like the first half, and then he had a little couple of flashes at the end. But in reality, he looks sharp, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He looks very up for it, very, very sharp. When he comes alive, he is seriously desperate and seems capable and seems likely to do it.
Auersness on the ball early on for Norway, into the feet of Ødegaard. Ødegaard just pushes it back to Patrick Berg, who comes sprinting across the Brazilian half from right to left. Passes to the left back Müller-Wölfe. Wide it goes here to Schjelderup. Schjelderup to Hegem, the centre back, who's quite well forward inside the Brazilian half here. Receives it again, plays it down the inside left channel. Wide it goes to Schjelderup, crossing with his right foot. Alisson stretched. Oh, that so nearly came to Haaland. Alisson got a touch, just fell behind Haaland. Gabriel was in close by as well, and Brazil breathed a massive sigh of relief.
Right, so how many corners have you counted they've actually beaten the first man today? They've beat the first man. It caused mayhem in there, utter mayhem. They must do it more often, the Norwegians, if they're going to get anything out of this strange piece of goalkeeping. Haaland, Alisson, you'd expect them to do a little bit better than that.
20 minutes gone in the second half. Still Brazil 0, Norway 0. Ødegaard comes across to take the corner on our side of the field, high above the action here in his red shirt, with all those thousands of red-shirted fans lined up in a steep slope behind that goal. Ødegaard's delivery, in it comes, headed away. Chased out to the left wing by Schjelderup, who beats Guimaraes to the ball, finds Bob back to Schjelderup. Looks promising for Norway, this on the left-hand side. A little bit of chaos and confusion from the two wingers. Bob again. Bob back to Schjelderup, wide it goes. Bob is able to let the ball run across his body, pokes a clever pass into the penalty area. Ayers ball, Haaland stretches, looking for the touch at the far post, couldn't quite get there. The angle would have been really difficult to get that on target, but a better cross again from Norway.
Yeah, and just at the moment you do not want a drinks break, and we're going to get one now. Just when the game was livening up, the Brazilians were playing a little bit better. Great reaction, from the Norwegians there. A couple of real good chances, and even as we've seen from the big screens there, Leo DiCaprio got very excited. Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Woody Harrelson. I'm told Tobey Maguire is in the house. Jay-Z apparently as well.
Yeah, we saw him earlier, yeah.
So double change coming for Brazil. Martinelli's coming off Neymar is coming on. Cue the excited reaction from the yellow-shirted fans all around us. I look to my right at our colleagues on Brazilian radio, who are reporting that news back to their listeners as well. And the other change, I think Danilo Santos came on as well. And here come the changes on the big screen. He is on for Ryan. So day 7 of Wimbledon. News here, world number 1 Jannik Sinner has beaten the Japanese qualifier Shintaro Mochizuki. So Djokovic through to the quarterfinals as he continues the defence of his title. And while we have this drinks break here, Brazil 0, Norway 0, we'll listen to Djokovic speaking after that match. He was speaking to Annabelle Croft.
First of all, thanks for staying this long. I know it has been a very long day, but the first time we played against, so didn't know exactly what to expect, but tried to handle certain situations slightly better than him, which I've done. But he's an incredible player. Coming from Crawleys and playing such a high level for such a long time, it's amazing. I wish him only the best. He should be proud of himself and, of course, the whole team.
Well, as you mentioned, you'd never faced each other before, but how tricky was it to play someone with such an unusual game style?
Yeah, very tricky, especially, on this surface. It's, his game suits very, very well because he's very low and, but all things considered, I try to stay a bit more aggressive. Had some chances in the second set, couldn't use them, but still very happy about today's performance, trying, to step up, every day a little bit better, so I'm very happy about today.
So that was Jannik Sinner, world number 1 Jannik Sinner, speaking to Annabelle Croft after his win over Shintaro Mochizuki. I think I might have said Djokovic there, getting my quality tennis players, world-class tennis players confused. Jannik Sinner is through to the quarterfinals as he continues the defence of his title. Mexico-England on the way. Kicks off at 1 a.m, barring any weather delays. Just remind you of England's expected 11 for the game. Jordan Pickford in goal, Jarell Quansah at right back, Konza and Gahey the centre-backs, O'Reilly at left-back, Rice and Anderson in midfield. It looks like Saka and Gordon coming in for Madueke and Rashford, Bellingham and Kane. News of Coco Gauff at Wimbledon now. Russell Fuller.
We're still going, and it's 1-all against Belinda Bencic, and it's 2 games all in the final set, Ali, and it's 10:32 UK time. The curfew is at 11 o'clock. The latest finish in Wimbledon history was at 2 minutes past 11 when Andy Murray beat Marcos Baghdatis in 2012. Could that be beaten, or will they have to call this match off with potentially one player just a game or two from victory?
OK, Russell, thank you. Sports Extra for your continued coverage of Wimbledon. So Neymar on for Martinelli and Danilo Santos on for Ryan. He's a 25-year-old who plays his club football for Botafogo in Brazil, winning only his 8th cap. But you might know him from 2.5 seasons at Nottingham Forest, where he made 62 appearances and scored 6 goals. So let's see how the drinks break affects things, because we are just over 20 minutes away from extra time here in New Jersey. Missed penalty for Brazil in the first half. There is Danilo Santos. So we've got Danilo, former Manchester City man, at right back. Danilo Santos now. And here's Neymar, Brazil's record goal scorer, 2nd appearance at the tournament. And Carlo Ancelotti seeing if he's got a little bit of magic to unlock this Norwegian defence.
Yeah, he's come on, and it's kind of wild hope. He's been injured for so long, but we know the qualities he's had as a player in the past. It's whether he still has these qualities at the moment, but certainly as a figure that the Brazilians can get behind, there is no doubt about that. Danilo Santos has come on. Just by his movement, he looks really decent. He looks like something you have to keep a hold of. He's not come on and been a little bit shy about it. He's very, very lively, very quick across the ground.
I are happy to bring the ball forward for Norway. There is Danilo Santos, intercepts it, passes forward. Bob is strong in the challenge. Chance for Norway. Ødegaard moving forward. Haaland to his left-hand side. Good first touch from Haaland onto the right foot. Yellow shirts close around him. Ødegaard, a little bit of tricky dribbling inside the penalty area. Still going. And eventually that yellow wall closes up on him, makes the block. And Brazil are able to get that ball away, down into the Norwegian half, where Hegem controls. 25 minutes gone in this second half and still no goals. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
And again, it's not as if Norway are holding on. Doesn't feel anything like that at all. Yeah, Brazil have got some quality going forward when they break, but there's nothing between these two teams. There's not been a huge amount of chances in this game. No one wants to take too many risks, particularly at the back. But I would say shading it is probably Norway. Probably more with possession than anything else. But at the moment, it's a tough one to call.
On the roll call of celebrities, I'm told that Radio 1's Greg James is inside the stadium watching as well, yet to appear on our big screen. Guest at the Taylor Swift wedding. Apparently, Pat, we were walking past Madison Square Garden only the other day before the big event. There wasn't a massive amount going on, just lots of railings, security guards, big trucks, and you couldn't really see very much as the ball is played down the right here towards Oscar Bob. Let's concentrate on the World Cup football. Vinicius's ball, looking for Neymar in the middle. Certainly back Neymar to score a penalty if another one comes Brazil's way. Ødegaard flicks it up in the air. Guimarães making a nuisance of himself, catches Berg in the face accidentally. Norway get the free kick. Another shot of Leonardo DiCaprio. I certainly recognise. Oh, and Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, in front of him as well.
Yep. Leo, don't look at your phone, mate. There's a game going on.
Black cap, dark shades, intent on his... he'll be posting, Pat. He'll be posting something to his millions of followers.
So why do you wear black glasses, black cap, shrink down in your seat, but still want to be noticed? Which he does.
Ødegaard's on the ball for Norway. Mexico, England on the way in the early hours, UK time, Monday morning. Very slow again here. Sander Berge still as a statue on the halfway line. Then he gets the ball moving. Forward it goes. Haaland can't get to that. Danilo Santos back to Douglas Santos, who nearly lost it. Some good work to keep it. Good first touch from Neymar. Neymar in the bright yellow boots to match that Brazilian yellow shirt, feeds it to Vinicius Junior, rolls it across the face of the penalty area. Casemiro lays it off. Guimarães, pass out to the right-hand side, cross comes in, blocked by Müller-Wolfer. Brazilian danger everywhere here. Casemiro's cross hits a Norwegian defender and it's cleared away. That was Schjelderup. There's the physical battle between Haaland and Gabriel. Gabriel pokes the ball away, but only as far as Ødegaard, and Norway come pouring forward. Auersness offering Bob support. Bob goes infield to Ødegaard. Can he get there? Flicks it to Haaland. Good chance coming here. Schjelderup on the ball inside the penalty area. Shoots Alisson down to his right and makes the save. Great counter-attacking football from Norway, and Alisson is first serious, no, in fact second, really good save of the game.
Yeah, but by some distance the best move that Norway have put together here, and it does look better when you get Bob in the ball. When you get the three players that we know, we talk about more than anyone else, they are the best players, and Haaland there did the right thing. It doesn't go for goal himself. Bob created it with his pace coming forward, but it's definitely that man Ødegaard. He is everywhere just now. His energy has been fantastic, but his picking of passes has been perfect.
And that came again from a ball up to Haaland. Gabriel managed to win the ball, but he could only give it to Ødegaard. It created the opportunity.
It created the chaos. That's what you want to do, create chaos in that situation. And to keep on saying, just head it up in that vague area and then get round it, because the ball's coming off.
Brazil 0, Norway 0. Norway trying to reach a World Cup quarter-final for the first time in their history against a mighty Brazil. Here's Bob, inside left channel. Passes back to Hegem. The other Alisson save came late in the first half. It was an Ødegaard low rocket, and he just got down in time to prevent it ending up in the back of the net. Schjelderup looking dangerous on the left. Cut back from Müller-Wolfer, blocked by Marquinhos, who is able to keep this ball in play and stop it going out for a corner. Clearance downfield. Müller-Wolfer ducked underneath it. It ran to Ayer. 80,663 it says on the big screen inside the stadium. And in big white block capitals above that, full house.
I think that's an absolute given, this game, considering what the tickets were going for Brazilian fans. But they haven't got a game that's been absolutely on fire for all of it, but there's been enough excitement, enough interest, enough intrigue, but certainly now plenty of jeopardy. We're going in the last 15 minutes and we have no idea just now. And again, I think Norway just have the upper hand at the moment.
World Cup final in this stadium in 2 weeks' time. So much thrilling football on the way before that here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Not least Mexico, England getting closer and closer in the Azteca Stadium tonight. So straight after this game, we will start our build-up to that one. Here's Sander Berge for Norway. And don't forget, the winners of this one meet the winners of that one in Miami on Friday. 10 p.m. kickoff UK time. Auersnes passes back here to Torbjorn Hegem, the Bologna centre-back, who turns and plays back to his goalkeeper Nieland, who's been unemployed for the last 10 minutes or so. Left-footed drill ball down the middle of the pitch, looking to cause chaos again. This one might reach Haaland via a deflection. Haaland tries to back into Gabriel, lost his balance, falls over, and Danilo is able to sort of stumble backwards, clear it away, throwing.
But it's still
Norway.
panic stations all around, isn't it? Absolute panic stations all around. They're lashing the ball out. Norway got a throw. There is no effort in that. It's just lump it in that general direction. And you know why they're panicked. You absolutely do, because you can tell that every time he goes within 10 yards of him, he looks bordering on unstoppable Erling Haaland. There are chances to be had for Norway just by doing that time and again.
Just wants that one chance. The chance came late against the Ivory Coast in the last 32. He nearly made a mess of that one, but it ended up in the back of the net. Oscar Bob about to take a throw, but Brazil are going to make another change. So this is Ederson coming on. Could potentially be joining Manchester United for next season, and he will replace Bruno Guimaraes in central midfield. It has not been Bruno Guimaraes' afternoon. He's been an important player for Brazil at this World Cup. 4 assists in the tournament so far, but when the moment came in the first half, the 14th minute, from the penalty spot, he was not able to find the back of the net. Will Brazil come to rue that? And will Norway maintain their unbeaten record, the only nation in history never to lose a game of football, men's senior level, against Brazil? And they're looking for the win here, Norway. They're looking more and more positive. Sjelderup's got the beating of a man. Cross comes in, looking for Haaland! There you go! One chance, one goal, and Norway could be heading to the quarterfinals of the World Cup for the first time in their history, and Brazil could be on their way out. They found the big man in the middle, and there he was, downward header. Alisson has no chance. Brazil 0, Norway 1, the Vikings roar.
Well done, Norway. They've been the better side in the second half. Slow, they're surely building into it. But the changes they made at the half-time, that was a problem. They weren't getting the crosses in from the wide men. Moaned about it, and I did moan about the whole first half, and I'm sure Erling Haaland did as well. They made the changes, and it's that way of coming in from the left-hand side. Doesn't do anything particularly special, because you don't need to do anything special with Haaland. Get it into the danger area, he'll do the rest. Exceptional finish. As you say, one chance, one goal.
There we go, let's watch it again on our replay monitor. Sjelderup just found him. Haaland had the run, got in the space, 6 yards out. He's a giant, and all he needed was to get it down with the power. And Alisson sent scrambling to his left, couldn't keep it out. Now Pat Nevin, and look at my stopwatch. 11 minutes plus added time remaining, so I reckon we've got probably close to 20 minutes here. Quite interesting in the goal celebration. The entire Norwegian team got there. It turned into a team meeting in a huddle.
Well, there's lots of psychological reasons for doing that. One, you add to the pain of the opposition by showing them your celebrations, your togetherness. So it's kind of deliberate, it's worked on beforehand. However, we now have those 11-20 minutes of real Brazil, because we will see real Brazil now. They've got to go for it.
Yeah, not been knocked out at this stage of the competition since Italia 90, when Claudio Canigia's goal in Turin saw Argentina beat them by 1-0. Brazil are desperate now, 1-0 down against Norway, playing for a place in the quarter-final where they will meet the winners of Mexico or England. Space possibly opening up for Haaland, causing mayhem at the back again for Brazil. Marquinhos just about deals with him this time. Plays a pass down the line. Marquinhos into midfield. Danilo Santos, good footwork. Referee's given a free kick for a challenge on Marquinhos, and Brazil have got to go quickly now.
Oh, they are. Every single pass is played quickly. They've got so many players up, and this is Brazil in the I have no idea what formation you're playing formation, which is what we kind of love. They're everywhere. They're just going to pass it, move it, try and get the ball forward to their attack-minded players. They need to get Vinicius Junior on the ball. There's other good players out there, but he's the one that can cause that chaos and go past players, and he's got the ball now.
The Norway curse for Brazil could continue. Vinicius trying to get outside Auersnes. Bob is back there, makes the tackle. It goes behind for the corner. Neymar comes sprinting across as quick as he can for Brazil. All the yellow shirts apart from Alisson go forward. on the verge of going out of the World Cup, on the verge of losing to a European team in a knockout game once again. But there is still time for them to rescue themselves. They've had their chances. Endrick missed a great one in the second half. Bruno Guimaraes in the first half saw his penalty saved. Now the corner to be taken by Neymar. The referee says that ball is not touching the line. Neymar moves that all of a millimetre, and the referee now seems to be happy with that. What can Neymar conjure up with the set piece? In it comes, headed high and over the bar. That was a Norwegian defender who got their head to the ball. Ayer was the man. He was challenging Gabriel. It's gone behind for another corner.
He thought about going down there, saying he was injured to waste time, then realised he can't get away with that anymore.
Another corner for Brazil. The pressure is on. You know exactly the reaction that will come if they go out of the World Cup at this stage. Neymar's delivery into the near post, looking to creep in. Auersnes was there, guarding it for Norway, and heads the ball away. This will be one of the greatest results in Norway's footballing history if they can pull it off. Another cross into their penalty area, headed out only as far as Neymar, just outside the box on the left. Chest sit down. Norwegian defenders under his spell. Neymar, little chop onto the left foot, back onto the right foot. No way through there. Berg is in the way, slides in and clears the ball away with his right foot, and Bob will chase it, but he won't get there, and there's a lot of Brazilian pressure building now on the Norwegian defence. Vinicius goes skating past Bob. Bob's taken the ball off him. Vinicius down, not going to get a free kick for that. Could Norway kill it here? Skjelderup. The second half sub is on, wide on the left. 4-on-4 this at the moment. Skjelderup finds Bob, edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Support from Berg behind him. They've slowed it down for now. I'm looking for Erling Haaland.
No, he was the deepest man in the whole Norwegian team. He was he's behind his centre-backs there. He's exhausted. He couldn't get up, and because of that, it's died out. It's totally died out. Had he been up there, that was a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was back there defending the set piece and he couldn't get forward in time. Back at walking pace in the centre forward position. Almost puts his hand up apologetically to his teammates there. He knows the opportunity that was, but 85th minute of the game already, and Brazil in real danger here of going out in the last 16. Carlo Ancelotti brought in at great expense to try and win them their 6th World Cup. They have had the chances this afternoon, but this is going Norway's way at the moment. Nyland clears with his left foot, looking for Haaland up the middle of the pitch. Marquinhos heads it away. Ayer stoops, nods the ball towards Berg. Marquinhos is there. Scissor volley from him back into his own half. Danilo turns and collects. Can Norway keep their calm, keep their composure, keep their shape?
Well, they're trying to keep their shape though, but the problem the Brazilians have got, they want to get Neymar on the ball, they want to get Vinicius Jr. on the ball. They're both playing exactly the same position. They're both playing general on the left-hand side. They're kind of killing each other's space a wee bit at the moment.
Ball into the edge of the penalty. Oh, it's going to lob Nyland. Oh, Nyland, that's an incredible save. He saved Norway again, backpedaling, stuck out a desperate left arm. There was a big deflection on the effort on the edge of the penalty area. It looked like it was lobbing over him and into the corner of the net, and somehow he got a couple of fingers to it, and he's guided it onto the post. Another cross comes into the box, headed away by Ayer. Here come Brazil again. Vinicius able to control the ball on the corner of the area. Pass now into Casemiro. Casemiro's crossed too hard, right across the face of goal. Brazilian teammates looking at him and saying a better ball there, and Neymar was in with an open goal in front of him.
Well, it was just a tap in the back post, and he fired it. He's absolutely launched it across there. Instead of playing, I actually think he's going for a shot. He's going for a shot instead of cutting it back. Neymar, as you say, and there was someone else, it might have been Vinny Jr. as well, was in there waiting for a tap in. That's a big chance, and by the way, what a save for Ireland. He had no right to get to that. He had no right whatsoever. It was a deflection, a definite own goal. It was, and it wasn't deliberate. It just happened. It was a deflection off him. He's going the wrong way. It's miles over his head, and somehow all those hours of training that the goalkeepers do, you know, getting up off their backsides when they're down the line, doing it hour after hour after hour. But all the years of that paid off in that moment.
Took a bang on the side of the face. He's just recovering from that. It may have been just in the fall from the save, but I mean that was better than the penalty save. Really, it was more unlikely than the penalty save.
I mean, the two brilliant chances there. Casemiro should have done better getting it across back there instead of having a shot from us, and a very, very acute angle.
87th minute of the game, and Norway lead through Erling Haaland's 6th goal in the tournament, and possibly they come looking for a second, and surely that will be that for Brazil. Ødegaard they've had a confidence and a swagger about them, Norway, all throughout this game. Neelan's been brilliant for them, yes, between the sticks, but they know that Brazil are vulnerable. And here's Ødegaard, edge of their penalty area, and they're knocking the ball around calmly and coolly. And Brazilian fans at the moment have gone quiet. Bob speeding into the box. Ødegaard tries to find him. Ball falls to Ødegaard's feet. Works it onto his right foot. Hits the shot. Sliding block from Douglas Santos. It goes behind for a Norwegian corner.
Yeah, Oscar Bob's a bit of the Brazilian about him as well, isn't it? With the skills there. Brilliant little dribble there. And because they've got the great understanding that he will have with Ødegaard there, little back heel from Hammond and nearly made it in for a goal. So, yeah, Brazil have had one or two chances, but then again, so have the Norwegians. They've got in some great positions.
You can see Jan Nyland, Norway's goalkeeper, is over by the bench at the moment, just taking some fluid on board and just getting the side of his head checked out. They've taken the corner short, though. Nyland's got to get back in position. Ødegaard plays it back to Auersnes. And I keep looking at that stopwatch, and we're about to tick over into the 89th minute of the game. So Norway on the verge of one of the greatest results in their history here in New Jersey against Brazil, the 5 times world champions.
Does that feel as if it's ticking away quickly to you? Because I
really
can tell
does.
you, it doesn't feel like it to the Norwegian fans.
No.
It's an eternity every time you have mentioned it.
Yeah, we know what's coming. If they win the game, we'll be looking eyes right to that thin block in the lower tier behind that goal away to our right, and the celebration in harmony with the players. Martin Ødegaard will call for the drum. They will get into longboat formation, and you will hear those Vikings roar. But Brazil still have a chance in the game. Neymar's on the ball, curls it out to Vinicius, and Vinicius heads down the left-hand side. Auersnes in with the challenge. Last touch came off the Brazilian. Goal kick for Norway.
I would say that's the first time just about in the entirety of the game that Vinicius Junior's got the ball, tried to take on player and failed to get by the first player that attacked him. And maybe he's getting a little bit tired, you know, he's got to take that in as well, and he's got Auersnes, who you have to say, third choice right back. He's not done a bad job back there, has he?
Great job. Here's Schjelderup on the left-hand side for Norway. He might have Haaland to aim at this time. Haaland, edge of the box, takes a touch with his right foot, hits it with his left. That is brilliant. That is game over. Norway are through to the quarter-finals, and Erling Haaland has just arrowed that into the bottom corner to give Norway one of the greatest results in their footballing history. There is nothing you can do about that. We have witnessed something very, very special here. They have played brilliantly as a team, but when you have a world-class striker like that, you can do anything, and they are going to be dangerous in the rest of this tournament. Brazil are heading out. Brazil 0, Norway 2.
Well, sometimes you're in a stadium and you think, you don't see that anywhere else. You don't see any other player doing that. There was not a chance on there. There's no chance. That's not a half chance. That's not a quarter chance. That's nothing. That's away at the corner of the box, miles out. You're against a world-class goalkeeper. The angle's all against you. Bang! Right in the corner. Keeper doesn't get a sniff. What a goal that is. And the entire Norwegian bench has gone on and celebrated it. And by the way, Alisson's not within 2 yards of it. He's actually got a bit of a cheek to try and dive at that one. Yeah, it's gone through legs. That's what happens with these goals. But what a hit. Fabulous.
Bang is exactly right. 27 goals in his last 14 internationals. 62 for his country in 54 caps. None more important than these goals tonight. And it's been classic Haaland. Hasn't really been in the game. There hasn't been great service to him. That goal he made out of nothing, really. The cross for the header was absolutely brilliant. But it's all he needs, Pat.
Yeah. I think the thing is, he's held himself really well in this game. He's got lots of energy, but he just keeps it. He keeps it for when he needs it all the time. The best players do that. And now the hairband's gone, the hair's down. He is now thinking, I am going to make sure nothing weird happens here. I'm going to chase everything. He'll be back at centre half in a minute to make sure this is not ruined, this is not spoiled.
Erling Haaland, hair down, running loose, running free. Nyland, brilliant in goal for Norway. The penalty save from Bruno Guimaraes. But the big number 9, now level, of course, with Messi and Mbappe on 7 goals in the tournament. And that left-footed strike is going to live with me and those fans, those Norwegian fans, right behind the goal for a very long time indeed. This Brazilian team isn't the same as some of previous vintage, but I tell you what, beating Brazil in a knockout game at the World Cup if you're Norway, that is an enormous achievement. Cross comes into the Norwegian penalty area. Can they keep the clean sheet? into added time at the end of the game. Vinicius' ball to Danilo Santos. He can't do anything with that. Up it comes to Haaland here. He'll, of course, fancy a World Cup hat-trick if the chances come. Patrick Berg has it inside his own half, waiting to see how much added time we've got. Now, as Haaland hasn't got the energy here. Berg is running away
7
down the
minutes, but a couple
left-hand
have gone, haven't they?
Yeah.
They were very late in putting that up there, but you know, you just don't take anything for granted. Football's weird that way. Strange things can happen. If they lose a goal just now, the Norwegians will be panic-stricken. They've also just about to lose a player. I'm struggling, just trying to see who that is there. It's Mola Wolf. He's struggling to move at all on the right-hand side, and the left-hand side there at left back. He needs his winger to come back and help him.
Brazil have 4.5 minutes to score 2 goals and save their World Cup. Otherwise, big questions to answer. You can only imagine what the atmosphere is like in the restaurants, in the bars, in the homes back in Brazil. Crossing to the Norwegian penalty area beyond everyone. Auersnes there at right back, happy to give it the heave-ho and thump it.
They've got to make that change. They're playing with 10 men just now. You cannot play with 10 men against Brazil with one of your... I mean, I'm pretty sure he's pulled his hamstring right at the back post there, Miller Wolf. They need him off. They need that ball out. Do you know what? Somebody, just go and foul.
Yeah.
Just go and make a foul. That's what you need to do just now.
Norway need the ball out of play. Brazil need 2 goals in double quick time. In the sunshine here in New Jersey. Norway heading towards a famous World Cup win, heading towards the quarterfinals for the first time in their history. And Brazil desperately trying to do something about it. Vinicius Jr. across to Neymar. Neymar moving across the face of the penalty area. Feeds it here to his right. That shot is hit by Ederson. Now the ball is passed to Danilo Santos. A stretch, a poor touch, and away it gets from him. Behind it goes for a goal kick, and Norway are getting closer and closer and closer. So if it is they, and it looks like it will be they, who get through to the quarterfinal in Miami on Friday, Mexico, England to come. Our build-up, big build-up starts to that straight after this game. 1 o'clock UK time, full commentary on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It will be Norway against Mexico or England, and then in the bottom quarter of that side of the draw, Argentina, Egypt, Switzerland and Colombia. Argentina, Egypt tomorrow at 5, Switzerland, Colombia at 9. That is how the draw is shaping up for all these teams. Haaland, what a great lead, what a flick on into the penalty area. Sjelderup chases it, ball is cleared away from him. Brazilians just feel and look like fans and players they've completely lost belief here. The game is up. There is very little time for them left. 2.5 minutes to go. Norway have the ball. They've got Brazil where they want them. Ødegaard toying with defenders there. Oscar Bob passes back to the corner of the box. Ødegaard receives the ball. Norway playing like Brazil of old in a way.
It's just a wee bit easy to do that when you're 2-0 up.
Yeah.
They're back up to 10 men, 11 men now. Ødegaard's come on.
Oh, what a run. Sander Berger, right-hand side. Can he find Haaland? Ball comes into the penalty area, takes a deflection, volleyed away at the near post. Vinicius is back doing some defending. 2 minutes to go in the game. But this is Norway attacking. Norway 2-0 up on Brazil. Dazzling dribbling from Bob. Comes to the right to Ødegaard. He's fouled by Neymar. Neymar raging against the dying of the light, commits the foul, receives a yellow card. Ødegaard roars with delight because he knows the job is done. They're knocking Brazil out of the World Cup.
Yeah, it's just that moment of you need to hold it just a little bit longer. You know that if they break, last minute, extra injury time, all that sort of thing. But when he was kicked there and he goes down, you're going to wait another 30 seconds. That's it. Deal done. And at this point in time, there's only one question left for me. Is it going to be a hat-trick for Haaland? I doubt it, though, because I don't think they're interested in getting the ball in there.
Any guesses who's getting superior player of the match, Pat?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever. Although it's quite harsh on Nyland.
Yeah, Nyland.
Yeah, it's quite harsh on Ødegaard as well. But there isn't even a smidgen of doubt.
At 1-0, Nyland's save, backpedaling from what would have been a disastrous own goal was quite incredible. Norway go down, you know, that's football, down the other end. Haaland's there, scores a very improbable strike, and here we are on the brink of history for Norway, and it'll be a 5th game against Brazil without losing it, now pushing and shoving. Brazil are losing the plot here. Ødegaard gets a couple in the chest. I think they feel he was sort of taking the mick, trying to run the game down and sort of showing off. I don't think he was there really. I just think Brazil realise they're on their way out of the World Cup and they've lost their rag.
Yeah, massive frustration, touch of embarrassment as well. I know what it's like when Brazilians come back to Brazil now. They won't want to go back. The stick that a lot of them are going to get, the anger that's going to come out of the Brazilian press, the Brazilian people, and more than anger, sadness as well on top of that. I mean, to get beat by, say, France or, Argentina or whatever, they'll hate it, but they understand it. Norway? They're not going to accept that.
First time in 9 World Cups that Brazil will go out in the last 16. Last time was at Italia 90. Last time they won it was in 2002. Here against Norway, defied by Nyland, undone by Haaland, and Norway's team performance has been absolutely exceptional. Came with a plan and have executed it perfectly. And the double substitution as well at half-time, bringing Bob and Shelder upon, has made a real difference. Brazil get a late free kick, shoving the back there on Casemiro, but surely it is too late. 7 minutes of added time are up. They need 2 goals. They might score 1. Norway are going through here.
They are going through, and I don't think many people will say they don't deserve it for what the effort they've put in, the organisation.
Here's the free kick up to the edge of the area. Norway still battling for every ball. Arm in the head inside the penalty area. Is the ref given a penalty there?
I have a horrible feeling he has.
He has. What a strange end to the game here. Norway 2-0 up. That was an aerial challenge in the box. The referee had a good view of it, and he is claiming there is an elbow that has gone into the side of Casemiro's face from Leo Ostigard, who is on as the Norwegian sub, and the ref says that is a penalty.
It's not deliberate, but he's led with his elbow and he's caught him in the side of the face. The referee's absolutely within his rights to give a penalty kick there.
Nyland is holding on to the ball. The Brazilians are trying to get it off him. I mean, there's no time left in this game. This is the last kick of the game, but there's needle and there's niggle, and Norway are on the verge of something very special. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if Nyland saves it.
Yes, the way the game's going, that's the way it would be. They try to kill as much time. The clock says 8:37, 8:38. The penalty kick won't be taken before 9 minutes. 9 minutes of the 7 to play.
Yeah.
So, even if it's a goal and they start again, you're talking 10, 11 minutes, 10 and a half probably. The referee can't add anything.
We think almost the entire population of Norway are watching this back home. The Norwegian fans inside this stadium will never forget today. We can see them. The bright red shirts all the way to our right. Would love Nyland to save the penalty. It won't matter. I think
big moment for Neymar, though.
Big moment for Neymar. Yeah. Big moment for Brazil's big name. And actually, there was some shouting, a slanging match there between Nyland. It continues. Look at Neymar. Neymar and Nyland are at each other here. Some proper sledging. 12 yards between them. Here comes the moment. Theatrical from Neymar. Brazil are heading out of the World Cup, but can he find the back of the net? Straight run to the ball, right from the edge of the box. The whistle has blown. He's delayed for ages. Now he moves to his left. Real drama here. Neymar stutters in the run-up and scores for Brazil. Nyland finally has to turn and pick the ball out of his net. Neymar comes and gives him a volley of abuse in his face, which is very unwise. But Norway lead Brazil 2-1. Brazil race with the ball back to the centre circle. It's not going to make a jot of difference. Norway are winning this game.
Well, you would expect so, but if there is one more attack, if the referee allows one more attack, remember, it is a World Cup. It is Brazil. You never know. He might be allowed one more attack. By the way, that was the most reserved goal that I've ever heard in my life.
Norway heading to the quarter-final, which is on Saturday in Miami. I beg your pardon, I think I said Friday. Saturday, 10 o'clock. Could be Mexico, could be England. Commentary of that game on the way.
I think Haaland's going to shoot here.
Norway waiting to kick the game off. Strange ending to the game. Neymar has scored the penalty. His 9th World Cup goal, his first of the tournament. Referee is now chatting to Ødegaard and Marquinhos, the two captains.
It's like a cricket lineup. The balls on the lines. It slips miles away back there.
And there we go. Oh, no, there we don't go. The referee, I thought we kicked off. I thought he'd blown the full-time whistle. What is going on here?
They're all confused down there.
Norwegian fans were ready to celebrate. We're going to kick the game off again. We have played 11 minutes of the 7 minutes of added time. The ball comes back to Ørjan Nyland. He hits it first time. It goes spinning high in the air. Norway need to win this ball. Surely Brazil can't find themselves an equaliser. Neymar inside his own half. Ayers down on the floor, diving header away. Where's this time come from in the game? Casemiro's cross and Nyland. Millions of Norwegians will roar watching that as he comes racing forward to the edge of his box, catches the ball and gets ready to deliver it downfield. And the referee says we're going to keep playing here. He's had another look at his watch. It's aimed at Haaland on a World Cup hat-trick. Norway leading Brazil 2-1. And finally, the full-time whistle blows. And we have witnessed something quite incredible in New Jersey this afternoon, because Norway have beaten the 5 times champions Brazil. Erling Haaland with a header and a deadly powerful strike into the bottom corner in the second half have dumped Brazil out of the World Cup in the last 16. We know the reaction there will be to that. The Brazilian fans all around us look absolutely stunned and dismayed, and we will get the Viking roar, the Viking row inside this stadium once again. That is one of the greatest results in Norway's footballing history. They've knocked Brazil out of the World Cup. They are through to the quarterfinals. They've beaten them by 2 goals to 1. How about that, Pat Nevin?
Well, I think they deserve it as well. I think a lot more of the ball. Brazil played and a very kind of, they held back too much. They were playing in the break. They expected it to come with those breaks. But if you do that, you take a chance, because, eventually the Norwegians will get the odd chance. They will get the long ball. They make the right decisions. They bring on the wingers that we were shouting about at half-time to bring on. They finally do that and get a ball into Haaland. You only need one in, and he got one in. And what a header that was. He headed the ball harder than most of us kicked the ball. It's been absolutely incredible that happening there. But the real one, the second goal, that's astonishing. That is... You don't even think, I know it's Haaland, and I know he's extra special, and he's actually very emotional just now himself, But even for Erling Haaland, you think, you can't shoot from there. It's not on. And he pings it into that bottom corner.
I've just seen the photo that everyone will want in Norway. The 2 Norwegian heroes today, and I know there's more than 2 of them, but involved in the key moments in the game, Haaland and Nyland. The goalkeeper in green, Haaland in his red Norwegian shirt, in a huge hug, a massive embrace, celebrating a famous win. And the Brazilian players down there in the yellow shirts do not know what to do with themselves. They have not beaten a European team in a knockout game since they won the 2002 World Cup against Germany. 4 quarter-final exits against France, the Netherlands, Belgium and Croatia. That disastrous semi-final in Belo Horizonte when they hosted the World Cup and lost 7-1 to Germany, and now add this one to the list. Norway have knocked them out of the World Cup in the last 16. They are through to the quarterfinals. There are some celebrations to come, and I don't think Mexico or England will really fancy playing Norway too much, because they were exceptional this afternoon. It is finished here. Brazil 1, Norway 2.
And the camera is following Erling Haaland around the MetLife Stadium, which is understandable, but Ali made the point, Pat, of the photo of Haaland and Nyland embracing. I know Haaland's got the superior player,
obviously,
but they wouldn't be in the last 8 if it wasn't for their goalkeeper.
Yeah, and obviously if you save a penalty, that's one big thing. Keepers absolutely love that. It wasn't a great penalty kick, but he managed to save it. He went the right way, didn't go too early. So that was one. There were other saves that he made during the game, but the one that will stick in the mind is we're in an angle, it's a perfect angle to see it. It's looping up over him. Oh, look at Ali. Did you think it was going in?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I never thought for a second that was going to be saved.
No.
And it is one of those ones where you're in the right angle to see it and think, right, all the angles say he's never getting there. And he gets there.
And do you know what's really interesting as well, Mark? I mean, every single player here at the tournament has a story, but Ørjan Nyland has waited and waited and waited to be the first choice goalkeeper for Norway. He has been that for the last 5 years. They've missed out on qualification for major tournaments. He's not first choice at his club Sevilla. The Greek goalkeeper Vlachodimos is the first choice there, so isn't playing much first team football. But when the moment came, saving the penalty in the first half, and exactly, your heart sank a little bit in the way that you're obviously impartial in the game, but you thought if Norway concede like that, that actually feels really unfair. The ball was dropping in, and how he's pulled that save off, I have absolutely no idea.
Are you ready for the row? Can you see the drum yet?
Well, actually,
we're not going anywhere. We're taking it before we do anything else.
Well, the players are kind of in a circle themselves, but they're going to wait until the players go over, because I think the players will do the roll with them, so they'll set that up as well. The other thing, by the way, you'll have a goalkeeper on at some point, talking about that save, and we're seeing how it's brilliant, and he gets back there and you train to get up from being in position prone, etc. But there's something more technical about it as well. It's the angle in which he puts his arm to put it away, an odd position. It's really weird the way he does it. So not only is it astounding that he gets there, but it's the angle that he gets there. Oh, they've got the drum out.
They've got the drum.
Have you seen the pictures of Haaland here?
Yeah, very emotional.
I mean, he sort of, for all his talent, for all his ability, for all his aura, he looks in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
I also think, Mark, he's doing that thing where he doesn't want to forget the moment.
Yeah.
He wants to enjoy every second of it, and he's just standing there and looking and taking it all in. And I think putting that mental image in his brain, because moments like this, you know, particularly for the national team, come around very frequently. Norway's first World Cup quarter-final is on the way. He is so invested in this team and so invested in the setting up of this as well. So the longboat formation is up, looking a little untidier than it has before. I would say we've got...
Get you longboat expert all of a sudden.
I'll be down there. Oh, hang on, Haaland might get the drumsticks here. I think Haaland's getting the drumsticks.
Yes,
Martin Ødegaard has handed them over to the big man, the number 9. The world-class centre-forward whose goal-scoring record for club and country is absolutely sensational. I've no idea what his drumming is like, but I bet he's damn good at that too. And what a scene. What a scene we've got inside the New Jersey Stadium. This giant of a man with the Norwegian flag proudly across his chest in the form of the football shirt, the red shirt, the bright red and the blue cross, holding everyone to attention. Thousands of Norwegian fans away to his right, adoring their hero, and all the team, his teammates who worked so hard to get him into the right positions, are rowing behind him. First drum beat, first pull of the oars. The cameras just move in a little closer.
He's keeping them waiting for this.
He's loving this bat. You can hear it, can't you? It's that guttural, deep roar of the Vikings as Haaland beats the drum again. Everyone pulls in unison again.
He's laughing his head off in the middle of that. You see that. And the rest of the team, they're gone as well.
I think we could be here a while, Mark, actually. I think Haaland's really enjoying this. Another double beat of the drum. They pull the oars again. The pace is going to start to build. I'll try and let the sound talk for itself here. Here they go. Haaland getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and the Norwegian fans ready to explode with joy once more. Final beat of the drum, and there they go. Haaland bouncing up and down on his feet, throws away the drumstick in celebration, and now, well, he's already let his hair down literally, but they can do it figuratively as well. They have knocked Brazil out of the World Cup. And they've been really impressive, Pat. Really impressive as a team today.
Every part of it. I mean, chappers, you heard me, and I'm sure the listeners heard me in the first half, moaning on about the away players. You know, it was so annoying that they were getting the ball in good positions and couldn't get a cross in. They just need to make a little technical change, and it made all the difference. One thing about this World Cup has become very obvious, chappers. Unless you have a world-class, not an international class, you need a world-class striker. Without that, you ain't winning this one. They've got one.
They certainly have. And Erling Haaland's dad at the moment currently has a glass of champagne and is dancing to Aha in the corporate. I wouldn't imagine it gets much better for him than this at the moment as he's singing along. Lars Siversen, Norwegian football journalist, with us as well. What an evening, what an emotional night for Norwegian football. Oh, we haven't got.
Can't blame him if he can't speak.
No.
Yeah.
He has been rendered speechless.
He's here.
Are you there, Lars?
Yeah, sorry, you're cutting in and out a little bit. That was quite something, wasn't it?
I mean, there isn't much more to be said about Erling Haaland, but your goalkeeper was phenomenal in Nederland.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy for him. I mean, he had a sort of save of the season contender against Ivory Coast as well, and as you think you've touched on, he's someone who has been questioned and doubted a lot because his club career has been very up and down. He's currently the reserve goalkeeper at Sevilla, and he's been the reserve a lot in the last decade or so. And I definitely think going into the tournament, you would have looked at him as there was a version of this in which he's not even starting because Bodø Glimt's goalkeeper Nikita Haikin, who's Russian-Israeli, just got a Norwegian citizenship, and there was a considerable push to try to bring him in the squad. Ståle Solbakken decided in the end to stick with Nyland, who was an established part of the group, and it's a huge vindication for him, and it's an incredible moment for Nyland, who was unbelievably good today.
They seem to have a sort of mixture of disbelief and belief, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the disbelief is real, trying to gauge the mood of the players, I think they felt the pressure against Ivory Coast. We talked about it before kickoff. Like, that was the big one for us. We had to win the knockout game for the first time in our history. But then Brazil becomes almost a bit of a freebie, because if you go home being defeated by Brazil, people will understand that. They will accept that. It's not necessarily a huge failure. But we also have this, there will be this quiet belief of thinking, you know what, with Erling Haaland up front, you do have a chance against anyone, and you've got a decent chance against anyone. And there's a good team around him as well. So I think we had a wonderful sort of sense of there's sort of nothing to lose and everything to gain in this game. They had to be extremely patient. Brazil's approach surprised me a little bit. I think that the weaknesses of this team are perhaps more in the defensive area, so Brazil choosing to sit back was a surprise to me. But then it ended up with us controlling possession in a way that maybe the team isn't used to doing in this sort of occasion, but I thought they were very patient. Erling had to wait for his moment. And this is such a great example of, you notice, he was getting no service for so long. Yeah. And he never complained. Like, there were no angry looks, there was no shakes of the head to wingers when they weren't crossing the ball into him. He understands that playing for Norway is not the same as playing for Man City. He's not going to get as many opportunities, and he's shown incredible patience and discipline to make sure that he's there when the opportunities arise. And the second goal is ridiculous. And I would love to see him shoot from range more often. He hardly ever does it, but obviously he can strike a ball with the left foot, fair to say.
He certainly can. Lars, thank you very much. Go and enjoy your night. I'm sure you will. Lars Sivertsen with us, Norwegian football journalist. That is Pat Nevin, a dangerous combination, a world-class striker with a squad that are there to enjoy it now.
Yeah, and no fear. Fearless. Why should you fear? You've got further than you expected to go. And a lot of teams, and I see it, there was a bit of fear about the Brazilians today. I don't think they let themselves go completely. There wasn't absolute belief in what they were able to do. And a lot of teams, and even England, you've got to say now and again over the years, there's been that white shirt weighs a lot, doesn't it? Those three lines feel a lot. Yeah. It doesn't feel that way for the Norwegians, does it? Because it doesn't matter. They've done enough now. Everything now is added and enjoyable. What a joy to go and do that for
there was a moment there as well, Mark, while you were chatting to Lars, where Ståle Solbakken was reluctantly pushed forward in front of those Norwegian fans. Ødegaard was not having him say no. He didn't want the team to take it all themselves. He pushed the manager forward, and then you had him sort of punch in the air, and on every punch there was the big roar from the Norwegian fans. And they're going to be here for a while. We've now got the image of the entire squad and the backroom team. They are lined up. It looks like one of those World Cup songs back in the day. They've all got their arms around each other's shoulders, standing in line in that penalty area. The goalkeepers as a union all together, that little block of green right in the middle. And they're singing with these Norwegian fans. And you can see the Brazilian fans slowly drifting out of all of the exits here. But these Norwegian fans in a real chunk away to our right-hand side, in that lower tier and the tier above, are going to remember this for forever and a day. Let's
just bring Tim Vickery in here. I wonder whether Brazil's issues are completely encapsulated by the Neymar penalty, where he seemed to make it more about himself than anything else, Tim.
This didn't deserve to work. Firstly, this is an unmitigated disaster. What do they do now? They've got Ancelotti on a 4-year contract. He arrives with a band-aid. I think they need something a little bit more. And how can Brazil not have a midfield? How can Brazil be outpassed more than 2-1 by Norway? Extraordinary. The absence of Lucas Paquetá, but how can your midfield not have any elaboration if you lose Paquetá? And the Neymar thing, it never deserved to work. Ancelotti, all of the red lines that he put in, he's going to have to deserve coming back. I'm not going to take injured players. He broke them all for Neymar, and I couldn't believe it when he came on, because he can hardly move. And it meant that he had to readjust his side. It meant he had to take Vinny further away from goal. He had to take Endrick further away from goal. It opened up the side all the more. And what happens? You can see 2 goals. And Neymar, frankly, Mark, I think he should have been sent off. I don't think he should have been on the field to take that penalty with that wild swipe. And I think so his era ends. All right, he gets his goal at the end. He gets his penalty. But it ends in a kind of semi-disgrace. And Brazil can go in another direction at last without him.
And there'll be fury there, will there, quickly, Tim?
Absolute fury. Ancelotti's being paid an awful lot of money. Shrewdly, he got himself on a 4-year contract just before this World Cup. But this is almost unprecedented to go out. When they lost to Croatia 4 years ago, they were a bit unlucky. when they lost to Belgium 8 years ago, they're a little bit unlucky. Tonight, the better team won.
They absolutely did. Tim, for the moment, thank you very much. Those Norway players are not leaving the field at MetLife at the moment, and the fans aren't leaving the stands either. Ali, Pat, for the moment, as they play New York.
Of course they do. Of course they do. They'll say anything, those Norwegian fans just now.
I tell you what, the DJ's playing a blinder there at the moment.
I'm staying.
I know. You enjoy that for the time being. I'm going to go to the Azteca, where the atmosphere may be slightly different at the moment, depending on who is in there and what the weather is like. I'll bring Alan Shearer in a moment, but John Murray, your latest weather forecast, please.
Well, I'm going to say, when we've got a match like this, Mexico against England in the Aztec Stadium, nothing can put a dampener on it. However, the Azteca is very damp at the moment, and we've still got lightning and thunder in the area. Now, last we spoke, there was a stay-in-place order. We've not been inundated with information, I have to say, but it did appear that was lifted for a time, because people have been able to make their way into the stadium. But then there was a very clear stay-in-place order again, which came up on the screen. So many people are in the stands now, 80,000 capacity here, with its two massive tiers and the hospitality in the middle. But I would imagine that many people are still on the concourses as well within the stadium. So at the moment, probably, I don't know, only 2/5 of the seats will be currently occupied. And as for what will happen with the weather, again, we're in the dark here, and we've got just less than an hour and a quarter to go until kick-off. These storms have been raging for some time. We've had regular flashes of lightning, sometimes sheet lightning, sometimes fork lightning, but we haven't heard those big rattles of thunder for quite a while, since round about the time that I was last speaking to you, which was half-time, wasn't it, in the Norway-Brazil game? So that's where we are. And the other thing is, we've seen pictures, the teams are here, or at least England were on the way last we saw, and Mexico have arrived. So there's not been any instruction to them not to come.
An hour and 40 to kick off, yes?
That's right.
Yeah.
That is just less than an hour and 45, I think.
Oh, you said an hour and a quarter. That's what I was thinking.
I thought I said an hour and 3/4.
I was just thinking, oh dear, my timing's all wrong. I was listening to you.
You were listening, because I know it's late at night.
Is he always this pedantic? Is he?
Yes, he is.
I don't know about you, Alan.
You should know that.
Don't know. I deal in facts, Alan. Now listen, you grumpy, grizzled veteran. This is your first time in the Azteca, isn't it?
Oh, goodness me. I just had goosebumps when I was walking in. This is by far the best stadium that I've been in. It's been incredible. It's always been on my bucket list. I've never been here before, and I always wanted to come here ever since that 86 game, and I just thought, wow. And I walked in here, and it just hasn't disappointed. It's absolutely spectacular. And the players walking in here today must think, this is what we've worked for. This is why I left home at whatever age. This is why I stayed behind on the training ground on my own for moments like this and games like this.
And do you know what? That was going to be my next question to you, with hearing that enthusiasm from you, which is genuinely, we talk, this will be difficult. You're playing the hosts in the Azteca, so on and so forth. Obviously, the home crowd. I'm not even talking about conditions and altitude and so on. But if you are an England player at a World Cup, it doesn't get much better than this for you. Maybe Brazil and the Maracanã, but this is right up there.
Oh, absolutely. It's not going to be easy. No game would be easy. You're in a World Cup. You don't expect games to be easy. And because of the conditions, yes, you might have to put up with a little bit more, and there's going to be 95% Mexican fans in here, and they probably won't even be able to see or even hear the England fans that have been lucky enough to get into this stadium. But it's never going to be easy, whatever game you're playing, and they've got to embrace these conditions. They've got to embrace this stadium and the situation that they've put themselves in. They're playing for a quarter-final in the World Cup, so no, it's never going to be easy.
The reported changes that we're getting, Kwanzaa at right back, and then Gordon and Saka out wide. What do you make of those?
Yeah, I would have certainly played the two wide men as is reported. Kwanzaa, by all accounts, has gone well in training and over the injury. So that was probably straightforward for him as well. And I'm more than happy with that team, and I want to see us I want to see us play on the front foot, as difficult as it's going to be here.
I was going to say,
see
do you
us
think
put in
that's
a really
possible?
Good performance.
Why
isn't it?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, it is possible. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know they've talked about conditions and home advantage and all of those things. Yeah, but when you look at the teams and you go through every single player, I wouldn't swap any England player for any Mexico player, and that has to give us huge belief and huge confidence as well.
As Pat Nevin just said there, finally, off the back of Haaland's 2 goals for Norway, if you're going to win this, you need a superstar to win it for you, don't you?
Yeah, I've said that before ball was kicked in the tournament. If England are going to win this, they're going to need Harry at his very, very best. And those of us who were at the stadium when they played DR Congo the other night saw exactly that. Him at his peak, him at his very best, and him feeling great. And there's no doubt about it, he's as fit as I've seen him for a long, long time, and he's as sharp as I've seen him for a long, long time. And yep, that's going to have to be the case. He's going to have to score goals continuously throughout and to get us to the final if we're going to get there.
Well, I need to let you go, otherwise Kelly will be fuming you're not available to talk to her for television. So I'll let you go.
Cheers, thank you.
John Murray, very quick one, finally. So the teams are there, yes? Because there have been rumours flying around but the teams are there.
We've seen the Mexico team. I'm pretty sure that they were arriving. There's a little bit of it to tell. They were walking along and doing low fives, but I think they were arriving. Whereas the England team we saw leaving their hotel, which is about 8 or 9 miles away from where we're sitting here. So they can't be far away.
They cannot, and we are an hour and 35 away from kickoff. Hopefully, we'll be back in Mexico City shortly. First to Wimbledon. Are you still going, Russell Fuller?
Well, not technically, but we were up until 27 minutes ago, Mark, because we saw one of the very latest finishes in Wimbledon history, with Coco Gauff completing victory over Belinda Bencic under the roof on court 1, 6-4 in the third set at 2 minutes to 11. So that's 2 minutes before the curfew. She served it out from 5-4. I think if she'd been broken back, unquestionably, the referee would have stepped in, called it off for the night, and Gauff, very aware that she was against the clock, she pointed to where the watch would have been on her left wrist as she secured victory at 2 minutes to 11 to round off day 7, of which the highlight, the big story, was the exit of the world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, beaten by Naomi Osaka of Japan.
Thank you very much, Russell. Coverage continues tomorrow here on 5 Live. Well, what a game we've had already in New Jersey. Brazil 1, Norway 2, Erling Haaland with both the goals, and we're just over 90 minutes away, we hope, from it getting underway in the Azteca, Mexico against England. Our build-up will continue after Alison Hughes with the news at 11:27.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK and the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Well, as you were hearing from John Murray there, the Azteca Stadium has issued a shelter-in-place order because of severe weather ahead of England's last 16 World Cup tie with Mexico. The match is still due to start at 1 a.m, but there have been thunderstorms, heavy rain and reports of lightning above the stadium, and that could cause the match to be delayed or disrupted. Here's BBC Weather's Thomas Schaffernacker.
Within 8 miles of the stadium, if there is a lightning strike, they have to stop play. They start a clock, and it's a 30-minute clock, and if within that 30 minutes there are no more lightning strikes within that proximity, they can carry on. But if another lightning strike happens, the clock starts again.
Pubs in England and Wales are being allowed to open until 5 a.m. for the game, and the match is being shown in venues across Britain. We'll have full commentary here on 5 Live. Reform UK says no rules have been broken after the Sunday Times alleged that Nigel Farage failed to declare benefits given by an ally who was convicted of fraud in the United States. The Liberal Democrats want the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner to investigate the claims. And the authorities in Venezuela say the number of people known to have died in earthquakes last month has risen to more than 3,300. Tens of thousands of people are still unaccounted for.
Conspiracy theories really can impact the way the world works.
Disinformation. You think you're winning.
There could be 1,000 deepfakes. Actually, you could upend democracy.
But it's because Because of you, we work 24/7
BBC News at midnight. The Prime Minister will host
to verify the facts with digital tools and reporters on the ground.
BBC News, Beirut.
on the Gold Coast,
Washington.
So, no matter how quickly disinformation spreads,
Let's have trial by combat.
we'll be ready.
The fight for truth is on.
Trust is earned. This is our BBC.
This is 5 Live Sports
At the FIFA World Cup 2026.
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
So already this evening, Brazil 1, Norway 2. And to come, England against Mexico in Mexico City for a place in the World Cup quarter-finals. The Azteca has witnessed some of football's greatest moments, and tonight both sides look to add to its storied history.
Jairzinho, number 7. Pelé. Up comes Carlo Alberto on the right, and it's 4! Oh, that was sheer delightful football.
Negrete, Aguirre, Negrete! Magnificent!
And it was handball, no question about that. And the ball, with a little sigh of apology, just bounces into the open English net. Maradona turns like a little eel and comes away from trouble. Little squat man comes inside Butcher, leaves him for dead. Outside Fennick leaves him for dead and puts the ball away. And that is why Maradona's the greatest player in the world.
Chance for Quiñones! Julian Quiñones sends the Azteca Stadium into raptures. Powerfully headed in. Harry Kane with the header now.
Ball balloons up into the air. Goalkeeper comes, drops in, and it's put in. And Mexico are in front. Luis Romo has got the goal.
Rashford right foot. It's there. 4-2 England. Marcus Rashford.
Still there for the co-hosts, and they've wrapped it up in style. Fidalgo hammers it into the top corner.
Saka plays it in, and it's turned in.
Left foot finish. Bellingham's the scorer.
Raul Jimenez emphatically into the top corner.
Kane finds a position. Oh, brilliant! Harry Kane rifles it into the top corner of the DR Congo net.
So we are 90 minutes away from kickoff. You can watch it on BBC One. You can listen here on 5 Live. We've got 90 minutes of build-up. The TV gets underway at midnight. John Murray firmly in place in the Azteca.
I feel so fortunate, Mark, at this World Cup to have been here to witness that amazing event that was the opening match, which was my first visit to the Aztec Stadium, and to see everything that happened that day and the way that the crowd reacted, the emotion and spirit that there was. And now here we are, just over 3 weeks later, coming here again to watch them play England. The first time England have been in this stadium to play an international for 40 years. Since that day, we just heard Brian Butler's commentary when Diego Maradona scored his hand of God goal, and indeed the goal of the century as well. And a little earlier, I was able to go down into the tunnel area, and right there, right next to where I spoke to Thomas Tuchel yesterday, who's up on the wall? Diego Maradona. Honestly, what a treat to be here to see England come here again.
Well, he should be on the wall, shouldn't he? You know, his name is, goodness me, is probably one of, if not two, of the greatest foreigners to have graced that stadium, you would probably say.
Well, you would, with Pelé being the other, and both of them have lifted the trophy in this stadium. Pelé, the Jules Rimet trophy, and Diego Maradona, the current FIFA World Cup trophy. And they are famous pictures that, you know, are right in my mind's eye when I speak about them. And I'm looking down on the pitch now where they were, both of them, you know, surrounded by their teammates. And remember, anyone could go on the pitch those days. Photographers, hangers-on, members of the public. It's not like it is now. But anyway, and the strange thing as well is we're here to watch England. And the weather today, this could be an evening match in Manchester.
Well, and actually, Paul Robinson, I mean, we'll come on to altitude and all of that in a little while. But just on conditions, they have got lucky, haven't they, England, with conditions so far in this World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the conditions either side of the day, the match day when they played in the outdoor stadiums, I mean, it was a lot hotter than it was on the match day. It's poured with rain both times that they've played, and it's exactly the same here today. And their opening game was obviously in an enclosed stadium with a fully air-conditioned roof. So yes, they've been very, very lucky. It's going to be different should they progress. If they go to Miami and progress further, it will be a very, very different situation for them. But the conditions here are extremely favourable. I'm currently regretting not bringing a jumper.
But if you're only just joining us, if they do get through tonight and go to Miami, their quarter-final will be against Norway and not Brazil, who beat Carlo Ancelotti's side by 2-1. Now, I didn't think I would be doing a World Cup last 16 match with a weather radar on my computer screen, but I have that at the moment. And at approaching 6 o'clock, I don't have any actual thunderstorm above the Azteca. The BBC weather update says the rain radar is showing that those thunderstorms and rain that might be currently affecting Mexico City should ease and move off over the next hour or so. There could be further heavy showers developing nearby, and they could move into the vicinity of the stadium. So it'll be worth keeping an eye on things. Might not be out of the woods yet. That is the latest BBC weather update. Just the rain would be fine, I'm guessing, John.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, we haven't seen flashes of lightning now for maybe 20 minutes or so. And I haven't heard thunder for some little time. We had very, very heavy rain. And right now, as I say, it's like a Manchester summer's night with the drizzle coming down. It is really gloomy. I mean, looking out of the roof of the Azteca, it is uniformly light grey. And it's like a mist of rain that is falling into the stadium. And I'm just watching on the screens, which are showing us pictures from outside of the Aztec Stadium. The Mexican team coach has just arrived. Javier Aguirre, the manager, is the first off. And now, for the first time, really, the stadium is just beginning to fill up. And the flags that have been laid out, the Mexican flags with the green, white and red, the tricolours, now they've got them and they're waving. The first time we've seen that en masse inside the stadium, and that is the reaction to the pictures on the screen of the Mexican team coach arriving. And I can confirm as well, the England team coach has already arrived. So England are already here.
Paul Robinson, I was talking to Alan Shearer, 10 minutes ago, and this is, if you're an England footballer now, this is what you play for.
It's the pinnacle. It's everything about a World Cup. I mean, my first World Cup as a child was Mexico '86, and that I really remember, and to come here and to see and witness, you know, that the hand of God goal. And I said to John earlier, I said, which end is it? And obviously he said, like, it's the one away to our left. And the stadium's been very much modernised since then, but you can see and you can feel an aura about it. And I've said it to you before when we were here in the States. I've been to so many stadiums, as you have, both obviously playing and commentating and working, and it takes a lot to be wowed by a football stadium. But me and Alan both walked in here and went, wow, this is something else. It really is. It's incredible. We've seen the other American stadiums that are quite corporate, with the corporate boxes that take up a good chunk of the size of the capacity. But this place, every single seat is facing the arena. There's 2 corporate layers in the middle of it, but it's just massive. You cannot underestimate the vastness of this stadium.
Could it be intimidating? And I realise I'm asking someone who played for many years at Ellen Road that question.
I was speaking to a friend today, and I likened it to playing in Turkey. Those atmospheres when you go there and the stadiums are full 2 or 3 hours before kick-off, and the intimidation that you get when you arrive at the airport there, and what the England team arrived to when they got here into Mexico City. There was a police cordon around their hotel, obviously to keep the Mexican fans away from waking them up, etc. The hostility and the atmosphere. The majority of players, in all honesty, will thrive on it. It will be an absolute buzz for the players to play in this atmosphere. I don't think there'll be many characters that cannot enjoy playing in this.
Matt Upton with us as well. I know Thomas Tuchel has said that when the opposition gets better, he expects his team to get better, and I think he's looking at that from a tactical point of view more than anything. But actually, you wonder whether they'll just get better based on the adrenaline of a game like this. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to say Panama in New Jersey, but this has to get the juices flowing.
Yeah, evening, chappers. I mean, yeah, it's got a slightly different ring to it, hasn't it? Mexico and the Azteca.
And I think you're probably right. I think it will be an absolute buzz, but also the fact that you're going to play against a team that are at home and they're going to have to be aggressive and want to take the game to England a little bit and just, even if that's just the tempo, not necessarily getting high up the pitch or pressing super high, but just driving the tempo of the game in front of their home fans. That itself, for what England having to been kind of dealing with in terms of tactically, as you've mentioned, how to play, that can make things very, very different. And England players and the England team could enjoy that. They could exploit that even better than what they have done so far in the tournament.
Let's get confirmation of that team news that we were expecting a little bit earlier. Is it as we thought, John Murray?
Yes, it is. So it's confirmed this is the England team to play Mexico here in the Azteca. Jordan Pickford in goal. Back four of Kwanzaa. Jarell Kwanzaa does play at right back, with Konza and Gay, the central defenders, O'Reilly at left back. Then in the midfield, Anderson with Bellingham and Rice. So Rice is okay. There have been concerns about his fitness all the way through this, but Rice confirmed in the team. And then changes in the flanks, Saka and Gordon starting, and Kane through the middle. So that is 3 changes from the team that started against DR Congo. This will be Jarell Kwanzaa's second appearance at this World Cup. If you remember, he also started against Panama, but he's had an ankle issue, but is now fit and ready, England have told us. And as I say, he's changed both wide men again, so it's a second start here for Saka, and Gordon comes in after setting up both goals for Harry Kane in Atlanta.
What do you make of the changes, Matt?
Yeah, I'm not surprised Gordon plays. Like I say, he had an impact last game, and also I think this type of game, the energy there's going to be from the Mexican players, I think he does that well up and down. I think he'll run back, I think he'll run forwards. I think he's got that in his locker to, you kind of know what you're going to get from him. Maybe not in terms of the creativity, but on that side of it, I think that's a sensible move to play Gordon. And Saka, look, if Saka's fit and good, I'm picking him every time. Like, he's absolutely in my team. But there's just, again, been little question marks over that. To see him start tonight must indicate that he's ready and up for it and physically feeling good enough to deliver. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the selection of the wide players personally.
I mean, you could go the other way as well, Paul, couldn't you? And go, well, maybe it's giving them an hour, and then you see what impact Rashford and maybe Madueke have for the final half hour, because quite a lot of times in this tournament for England, it's the player that's come on for the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes that's had the impact.
Said before the tournament, Thomas Tuchel, didn't he, that he knows that he's got 15 or 16 starters, and he's actually quite clear on the players that can come off the bench and have an impact. And sometimes as a player, to your detriment, you have that impact coming off the substitutes bench, so the manager then puts you on the bench again. But we've seen in this tournament the players for England have a positive impact. Thomas Tuchel, his in-game management for me has been exceptional, and I think he's made changes that have affected the game in a way that have allowed England to go on and win the game. Rather than defending weaknesses, he's played to strengths, and he's made changes in a positive sense. And those players that you mentioned, the wide players have been changed, chopped and changed, whether they start or finish, but all the mentioned above can have an impact off the bench.
He's not named an unchanged team yet at this World Cup. So after Croatia, for Ghana 2 changes, Panama 5 changes, DR Congo 3 changes, and today 3 changes. And I'm just looking as well, I see that Jed Spence, there has been a suggestion that he has had an injury, which has ruled him out, but he is named as one of the substitutes, and Reece James is actually named as one of the substitutes as well for England. And as for Mexico, they are unchanged, so the same team that won so and played so well in the first half here against Ecuador in a match that was delayed by the weather. So Rangel, the goalkeeper, Sanchez, Montes, Vasquez and Gallardo. Then in midfield, Lira with Mora, and the 17-year-old Romo is going to be starting this match. That is quite a story, isn't it? Gilberto Mora starting this match. And then the front three of Alvarado, Raúl Jiménez and Quiñones.
Let's talk to Will Grant, BBC's Mexico correspondent. Evening, Will.
Hi Mark, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you describe the difference in mood in Mexico City over the last 3 months, over the last 3 weeks compared to, well, how long have you lived there?
I've been here on and off since 2011, but since we last spoke, which was the opening match, it's been incredible. I mean, it's just built and built and built. I mean, they went into that opening match with a bit of belief, but now they're convinced they can win the thing, not just this match, but they can go on. There was this brilliant meme and this brilliant kind of videos going around. One was of this Mexican guy on the Reforma after they beat Ecuador saying, put out Brazil and France 22 against 11 and we'll beat them too. So to say confidence is high is an understatement. And what's so nice is that, you know, it has all gone in the right direction so far. It's all just been positive. They've been really welcoming to the opposing teams, but they've been really buoyed by the quality of their football on the pitch as well.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt this part of the programme for a weather update from our newfound weatherman over the last hour.
This is actually from the Mexico City Stadium, Mark, who say activities will continue as planned for the moment. The weather situation will continue to be monitored, and the next update is by 5:10 p.m. So that is 50 minutes from now. So it looks as though everything is proceeding as planned.
Thank you.
Sorry, that's not 50 minutes. It's
I know it
26 minutes from now.
I know it isn't, but the last time I corrected you on the time, I was roundly mocked. So I was just leaving you to get yourself out of that hole.
Which I did.
You did, very smoothly.
I thought quite gracefully.
Very gracefully. Nobody would have noticed. Back to you, Will. There's a great article in the New York Times about a couple of things with how this tournament has gone down in Mexico City and the optimism that it has given the place, and also the fact that it has given the citizens maybe a reprieve is the word that they use, actually, from a lot of those subjects that we talked about on that opening night, the cartel violences, the disappearances of people, that they actually feel that this tournament has given them a reason to be on the streets to celebrate rather than not be on the streets out of fear.
Yeah, absolutely. We're used to seeing on La Reforma, more than anything, protests. You know, protests about some of these issues. The protests about disappearances or wages or, you know, schools, whatever it might be. And here they were just en masse. I think it hit somewhere like 1.2 million people on the streets. I mean, there was a tragedy in there too, of course. A number of people died in the crush, which is something they're definitely trying to make sure there's no repeat of. There's going to be much tighter security this time. But, you know, that tragedy aside, there really has been this positive energy around Mexico's performances, the way they've carried themselves. And I think it's true what was in that piece. It's about the fact that there has always been associated, you know, these negative news stories, and it's just been this chance for Mexico to really celebrate its Mexicanness. You know, that they wanted to be the standout hosts of these three hosts. They want to be the one that people talk about the most, that they remember the football as being the best and the colour as being the best, and they're certainly making it so.
Do you think they will? There is a reason for optimism for the future for them there.
That's the thing I think that sticks out when you talk to people, that you can get carried along on a wave of sort of positive energy, but then you can wake up the next morning with a hangover, and of course, you know, all of those issues haven't gone anywhere. I think Claudia Sheinbaum, the president, has been very smart. She's handled herself and some of the issues that have come along from traffic to protests and so on very, very well. She's been really even-handed, and she's been applauded for that. I mean, it's a difficult thing to share a World Cup, I imagine, at that level. And so really they've just focused on the team. And fortunately for them, the team have really showed up. And I think that's the thing that has surprised and pleased so many Mexicans. They're used to quite damp squibs. I mean, it is raining, but, you know, damp squibs on the pitch where, you know, Mexico just do not perform. And this time, I think nobody expected them to dominate Ecuador to the level that they did. They really bossed it, and I think people were super pleased.
And they are starting to think, what if, aren't they?
Completely. In fact, there's this saying here that says "y si si," so that is, and if yes is a literal translation, but it means, you know, and what if we do? And And there really is this belief, you'll see it written all over the place on T-shirts and hats and stuff. What if we actually do? What if we do put out one of the pre-tournament favourites in England? What if we do go on and then we'd be facing Norway and not Brazil? What if we do go further than we've ever gone before? And I think that's the feeling, is that, coming in with no real expectations, pero ECC.
Thank you, Will. I'm sure we'll talk later on. BBC's Mexico correspondent Will Grant, Paul Robinson, Matt Upson are with us, John Murray as well, and Stephen Warnock joins us for the next part here on 5 Live. Which city are you in at the moment, Stephen?
I'm in New Jersey, just arrived.
Oh wow, okay.
And I've just missed the Norway-Brazil game to join this show.
Right. Well, you will be celebrating with the Norwegians tonight, then, I would imagine, in New Jersey.
Not me, chappers, not me.
What do you make of the England team?
I quite like it. I think obviously Joe Kwanzaa's an interesting one at right back. I'm still not so sure he is a natural right back, but I like what. I agree with what Matt said before about the athleticism and the ability of Anthony Gordon to do both roles, up and down. Saka, I'm still not so sure whether he's 100% fit. I think there's big performances needed from him tonight. But on a whole, I think it pretty much picks itself at the moment.
What I find quite interesting, Matt, is the role of Kwanzaa with Saka ahead of it.